Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here today. We are in the third and final day here of our charity tournament, Watch Over Palestine. And it's been a very eventful couple of days thus far. Of course, I am Hunter Tane. I'm brought to you by Thario Mia, which it is glad to cast with you for the very first time. And I mean, how has this whole weekend experience kind of been for you so far?
Um, Honestly, it has been pretty interesting, right? While we do have like Watch Over Palestine like happening right on the BPL stream like this evening and even the past few evenings, there's also Calling All Heroes happening during the afternoon. So there's a lot going on in terms of Overwatch this whole weekend. So it's just jam packed. Listening to commentators from different teams, not only just within the BPL like production, but also like in Calling All Heroes.
Yeah, I'm a sad little Inarizaki fan right now, but they did their
Aw.
best. Oh, but no, it's been a fantastic weekend. Of course, this is going to kind of we've already capped off calling our heroes for this, but of course we're going to still cap off things here because we have our final four all set up, and of course we'll kind of run through how things are going to go. Over here we've got Fire Puppies versus Zuskies, and of course you can check over at BPL2 for Hive Mind versus Overworked, and of course the winner of those going to move on to the grand finals here on the A stream. And kind of looking at our bracket as we speak, I mean, I've been thoroughly impressed with all four of these teams. And if we want to look at last night Overworked in that map 5 victory over Shikakami, like that was a phenomenal match that they had.
Right. And if you look at like even these teams going up against each other, right? All four teams on like the semifinals, it's anyone could win at this point, right? They've played
Oh,
against each other, they've learned against each other, right? So, but here we are on the A stream, and we'll be seeing Fire Puppies versus Zuskies.
yeah, and both these teams kind of having a lot of success overall. Obviously, you had to go at least 3-1 to get into the situation. Of course, we look at Fire Puppies, really both actually both teams only suffering their loss within the 3-0 and 3-1 of Hive Mind, who has kind of solidified themselves as a favorite into this tournament. But I mean, outside of that, like Fire Puppies with three different 3-0s, I mean, just impressive overall. But Zuskies have dropped a couple of maps here and there. But I mean, as a team that I very much faced last night, they are a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, here's the thing, right? It's looking like both these teams have very clean, more or less clean records during the Swiss stage, right? Not much map fives, and they close it out at 3-0s or 3-1s, or lose out in 3-0s or 3-1s. But they haven't faced off against each other in the Swiss stage. So I'm really interested to see how Fire Puppies and Zuskies are going to compete against each other, given how I guess that very clean the record has been for the Swiss stage.
I mean, yeah, 100%. And you look on top of that, of course, both these teams do want to kind of get the opportunity to go up against Hive Mind again if they do manage to get through Overwork. But of course, we got our lovely rosters in front of us. We have that tank battle coming between Guac and Zungri, who, I mean, seeing both of them perform yesterday, I think they're both on a very high level and should be very competitive against each other. Is there anyone that really kind of stands out for you in terms of perhaps like the DPS or even the supports?
Right now, I'm just very interested on how they're going to slot in Cinex from Fire
Mhm.
Puppies, right? Cinex also did pretty good job during I think Rally Rumble on their respective team, but seeing them on this flex role, but it's looking like they might be playing DPS, but who knows really at the end of the day. It would be interesting to see how they're going to favor against the Zuskies. Very interesting enough, they're both somehow their names are both related to dogs. Like
I
these both
okay.
teams.
I all right. So this semifinal match was just destiny. This was meant to happen the entire weekend. I'm happy we finally have it. But of course, we'll get into things rather soon here, and I'm just excited that this weekend has gone as well as it is. As you said, between this calling all heroes. The last couple of weeks, honestly, if we look back at OWCS, the amazing experience that we have, and of course, all of you for being here, and those that of you have been very generous and have already raised over $1,600 over the course. And of course, we're looking forward to getting to that $2,000 goal. Of course, you can donate, and of course, we have a couple of things for you here. If you donate $3, we have that final sticker of our beautiful logo that you see kind of flying around in the background. But of course, if you want to donate 5, you are entered into a raffle for getting a coaching trial with Spilo and one for Natter as well. I believe we'll be doing that drawing up between the semis and finals as well. But I mean, that's enough of an incentive as is for the fact that it's a great cause and having a couple of
Right.
amazing coaches who can teach you some amazing things on top of that.
Right. Like, it's the charity work that comes with it, with the donations,
Of
but also,
course.
right, it's the benefit of like the chance for coaching. Because I think all of us who do play Overwatch do want to get better at Overwatch. And just getting the additional coaching from people who actually have been like on the field coaching T2, T1 teams is just really puts the icing on the cake.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm really excited to kind of see who ends up taking that one because obviously a lot of people have donated. A lot of people are going to have a great opportunity in front of them here. But of course, we're not quite there yet. We do have to get through our semifinals. And of course, we got to figure out where to be starting out here today, which I'll be honest, from what I've seen throughout some of my own matches, through the stream matches that we kind of had throughout the weekend, not really a surprise that we're going to Lijiang Tower. It's a big favorite, especially with a lot of teams running that Mauga style brawl composition.
Right, and Legion Tower has always leaned into that brawl type of setup, even back in Overwatch 1, right? Like
Oh yeah.
it's a Rhine map straight up, right? Very simple TP to point on like Night Market, or even sometimes in control centers. So just leaning into that further with like a brawly type of setup with Mauga just works really the best in Lijiang Tower. Now I know it's also a fan favorite of a lot of people, but honestly, I have a very soft spot for Busan. So, once in a while, I will be happy to see Busan, but that's on another day. We're back here at Lijiang, and it looks like we will be starting off at Garden.
Yeah, this is the one. It is guarded, just fantastic. It's the one map that doesn't necessarily constitute running the Mauga, and I think both teams kind of playing around with other things instead. Of course, looking at Guac on the ball, which you've seen before, and Zungri on the Sigma, who again first-hand experience, has done fantastic things on the Sigma, and I would be very interested to see if Cynics actually six the Pharah, and I would be a little scared walking into Buzz Lightyear, who is currently rocking the Cassidy.
Maybe like there's a slight expectation that if they're running something like with a Sigma, like a lot of people have been leaning in towards a Venture, so you're hoping like with a Venture, like they struggle a bit more with the distance that they can hit, so it's easier to play Pharah. So now that you know that Cynics knows that he's running into this cast, they'll have to play on like less on the LMS of the cast.
Yeah, 100%. Right now, you see Guac kind of trying to cause as much disruption as possible, doing a pretty decent job of that. But right now, no one really going low on the side of Zuskies, outside of Baker. But not being doing a good job at staying alive. Make sure to try to stabilize on this point, as Zuskies do not want to get off it in any case scenario. Buzz Lightyear being literally sent into the air. It's not flying, it's falling in style. But for the time being, Guac is trying to deliver pressure, but Zungri hoping to clean things up here. Already has two, but with supports already dealing a lot of pressure, it's going to be tough to bring it back with the double pile drive, but Zuskies should eventually cap.
Yeah, Zuskies should eventually cap, but you could see the benefit of like their composition able to bunker on point better. So Power Puppies knowing that they just have to take different angles and poke from different angles, which they were successfully able to do and get people low, which was that 2k slam from Guac at the end of the day. But he did pop mines now.
Yep, and fight might as well be over at this point. Already a 5-3. Gonna be really tough for anyone to do anything. At this point, I think it's just the expectation of trying to stall out. Hopefully, you can get members back here. Others does go down. Those Zuskies do have an opportunity. Is the window going to come online? Hungry is getting some healing. Gonna trade it out as Buzz Lightyear has found a second now. Hoping to keep cleaning things up here. Walks on the sting. Gonna make it nearly impossible though. Buzz Lightyear trying their best to kind of fly around, avoid contact. Unfortunately, the point looks like it is eventually going to flip over. Just need to care of these last couple of members that are really staggering around, doing honestly a great job at surviving for as long as they have, as the mortality code is going to come in. But that should likely be the last touch here. 51%, not bad at all, but you do end up using the window in a, unfortunately, killing.
Right, but it took a lot of ults for also Zuskies to like stay alive. I guess that window did help. But you could see that Fire Puppies are struggling to just cap the point because they're a very hyper-mobile composition, right? It's a lot of, you have to focus on their dives that are very coordinated, and as Zuskies takes White Room, there's that slam that comes in from Guac.
Yep, here we go. Others hoping to go in. I gotta force out the feet. Very good for them, and now they're gonna go in for the flux. Gonna get forced back to the other side. Nobody should go down, but there is the follow coming through onto Hannah, losing out on the main heals. It's going to be tough for Akko to be able to kind of keep these going for all the team, but luckily, all of them able to move around quite a bit here. As the Knicks on the Tracer kind of cleaning things up more and more. Going to be really difficult for Zungri to get out of this one alive, but might not mean to when you take somebody down with you. But unfortunately, there's the reset, and I think eventually the rest of the Fire Puppies are gonna have to follow suit here.
Zuskies might as well just back, reset, regroup, right? No point staggering any further. And Hannah switching over to the Moira now. Understanding that keeping up this team is a bit of a struggle, and that's a pulse bomb from Sinex. Doesn't really get anything at the end of the day, but you have mines on the field by Guac, and that's gonna come in through this break.
Yeah, a lot of numbers already getting past on mines though, and with Buzz already being taken out of things, you're kind of seeing a potential cleanup already coming through here in a 5-2 scenario, and they're going to reset quickly because they're likely going to watch over to either a dive or a Symmetra to TP onto the point, but I imagine they're probably going to swap over to Winston to go for touch.
I think that was actually a faster reset style one way or another also, because no point staggering, you have one more fight left, right? You do lose out on these ultimates, but Fire Puppies has no ultimates either, so you see Sinex harassing the backline.
Yep. Dead Eye not gonna find anything. Gonna cause for everyone to dispel a little bit here as they're gonna try to force over the point. Will be able to do so, but they're already losing members one by one. Vapor still on the scene. Does manage to get rid of one. Buzz Lightyear can't do it all by themselves though, and it's just Sungri and Vapor on the point trying to hold down as long as it can. Hoping that Revenant's gonna be able to come back on this Kitty Cult, but it's eventually gonna flip back over. Someone's gonna have to force touch, and it's gonna have to be Sungri. Gonna have some follow through, thankfully, but it's already an uphill battle going to this one. No walls to have, and the only one they could have had was Makarova, who's gonna have that beat, unfortunately. Not going to get the opportunity, going to be blown away. Round one is eventually going to go over to Fire Puppies, but Vapor trying to keep this one going the best they can. Just eventually, the stall's going to run out.
Right, and Fire Puppies' great way of playing the composition that they wanted to run. I think Zuskies, the moment they lost the point, right, on after they initially capped, started to struggle trying to retake the point. And a lot of it boils down to, yes, you have a very, I guess, a more stable composition with that Sigma Baptiste lineup, but when you are up against the hypermobile composition of Fire Puppies, it becomes a bit more of a struggle on who to focus and who to dive on, especially with Guac, who seems to be getting so much value on Wrecking Ball. Lots of great roll-throughs and slams, very good cleanup, and from the looks of it, it might be something that they are still sticking on to, right? You see Zuskies now making the necessary changes, expecting the same thing from Fire Puppies, and no surprise, this is the fuck you ball kind of situation.
I mean, 100% here. They're going to be struggling going into this hog a little bit here, especially when eventually Guac is going to go in for these dives. Is going to be sent through the gauntlet, gets nearly annihilated, sitting on 1 health. Gonna survive here as they're just gonna force their way over to the point. Eventually, that has to be the nastiest combo. Pulled it into EMP with the hook. I don't want to be Akko. I never want to be after that. But eventually, point will start with the flip. But point still has plenty more to go here. Otter just hoping to survive while they all regroup.
Fire Puppies though will probably still attempt to keep this as taking angles, but with that hack, sleep, anti-combo onto Guac, it's back at the drawing board for Fire Puppies, right? No point in dragging out and trying to get kills because the person to set up is not there, except if Cynic doesn't think a thing about it. What is this 3K?
That's already 3, by the way. They're gonna get 4. Are they gonna get the 5K? There's no. They essentially just pulled that back for their team, by the way. I cannot stress that enough. That they just pulled that out of nowhere. Like that, there was no right for them to win that fight.
The awareness, though, of all of the squishy players of Fire Puppies, seeing that they just used all the cooldowns on Guac, just said, hey, we're going to go in, and, you know, they wasted all the cooldowns, so we have so much to play for. But Zuski's now coming in with this nano, and with that stick, not really much gets there in the way.
But it really shouldn't be too hard to be able to gather to another for the next fight here, as they're already forcing out a lot. Zenix helping get rid of it, and then they're just going to run them through. I mean, Fire Puppies, I mean, they fell for it once. They are not falling for it twice, though.
Yeah, but they are coming in with this whole hog rally, and I think that's a great way to sustain, but I'm not sure how that's going to fare against Otters having this, Venture Ultimate, right? And they're probably going to rip it on this next fight that's incoming, but they're giving a lot of space to Zuskies.
What? Yeah, and currently Zungri's trying to help hamsters fly at the time being, while kind of flying around, eventually going to be hacked and forced off the side. That's so unfortunate now. But what's more unfortunate, pressure being brought onto them as Valko does manage to take Revenant off the side here, as right now Karm just trying to do their best to survive. Unfortunately, won't be able to. But with now a second here, is Others hoping to find something. Unfortunately, not really finding an opportunity to do so, as the point will flip. But the fight is still potentially winnable here, especially if they want to introduce the beat.
Right, and at this point, there's really no support on the side of Zuskies, so they'll not really have much to sustain, especially for this Cassidy who is still alive. Now you see Not Vapor trying to set up this EMP, which will likely happen in this next fight, unless the Pulse has something to say about it.
100% does, and it's just walked into that, but unfortunately, for Vapor, not really going to be an issue for them. They're just trying to run this down. Unfortunately, a little too greedy, trying to run past the Hog, going for that kill. Still advantage over on their side. Powdrop going through should be able to get rid of Eminent here, use all of their cooldowns. Now it's just Zungri hoping to stall the point, hoping to get a little bit more charge here, and charge exactly what they're getting here is what? Might be able to go down, but eventually should see the cleanup, but gets flipped off the side instead is the point. Eventually gonna flip the fight, not quite over yet.
But at that point, it's like you lose both tanks, right? So it should be an even fight, and with the even, we now mean just Fire Puppies cleaning house, right? Nothing really to keep everyone else alive, with Cynics even pushing towards the spawn of Zuskies. Might as well get out there and just set up for the next fight.
Yeah, and they gotta find their way on here. It's likely gonna have to be Vapor kind of going through, unless Zungri's gonna make their way over there immediately. But Cynic's already down. A great start here for Zuskies right now. Bet you gotta make the point touchable, and it will be as they all make their way through. And now it's gonna be really tough to even force this. And I think after this, I think you do have to eventually just give it up and let them use the ults they want to be able to use here. But Revenant already going down here, so fight very winnable. Is the beat going to come on the line here? Revenant has that nano, not really gonna be able to use it as they're just coming from spawn. Whole Hog online, and now I think we're hoping for a fast restart here, because with 80% counting, they gotta set up for one more fight.
But, you know, Cynic's still alive, trying to keep it alive, but as he gets hooked and hacked, there's really not much you can do. Last fight territory, but you do have this Venture Ultimate coming in, and with nothing really to answer it, no Whole Hog, no Break ult to stun it out. There's a lot of value there is to get from this ultimate.
Yep, next fight will decide it as well. Excavation going through, gonna double kill the support. It's already gonna have a rough time here, but a Hog is angry right now, already gonna help get rid of one, evening things back after the hack, hoping to find something. A lot of people low, unfortunately not able to follow up. 99% going to cap over. No one from Zuskies really gonna be able to make it back here. Fire Puppies, a little more contested that time, but will go their way 2-0. And I mean, I'm just gonna say, this ball gone working slightly better than I would have expected.
I think the way that Fire Puppies are playing this more than anything is, Guac is there to really set up the place for everyone else on the team, but also just to help for cleanup at the end of the day. You see he gets a lot of value from the Wrecking Ball slams, and you know, if you have a backline that's Kiriko Lucio, you're just surviving for like a significant, their supports survive longer, right? They're not stagnant, they don't have to worry about getting run over, quick TP in and out, and that just goes to show that this composition is working for them, and Zuskies still haven't really found an answer to it from what I've seen. They've made it close, and it looks like the Hog composition with the Ana Brig did work well to stop them, like all the CCs just to prevent, you know, any displacement from happening. I think how Zuskies can do moving forward is making sure that we rotate these cooldowns better, right? Not instantly using anti-nade, cast nade, sleep, and hook all on the ball, because there's nothing else left to like keep you up for when all the other people can just dive on you afterwards.
I mean, yeah, 100%. There has to be a lot of care going into that, because, in my opinion, supports are very important here in Overwatch too. And when you have that kind of synergy between, like, whether it's the Kiriko Lucio, whether it's the Ana Brig, I mean, we've seen it before. That can be an impenetrable wall to kind of break your way through. But at the situation we're kind of in, now we're in a situation we're going over to hybrid. Zuski's going to have to Pick a map where perhaps the ball's not going to be as manageable to use. Unfortunately, I think with all these maps, I do think it's very manageable to run on all three. I think the one exception I may give may be the realm of like Midtown, where we kind of see them go back to that Sigma-based composition and try to force a lot of these longer range fights, make it a little harder to dive them. But that's just a prediction. We never know.
Right, and I agree with you on the midtown part aspect of it, right? Especially just even setting up as ball initially. The pathing for setting up is a bit more predictable, especially if the different ways you could grapple, or if you're just trying to set up by a regular roll, you know what paths a wrecking ball would take.
Yeah, 100%. It has to be a little more. I mean, visible. All things considered, Midtown, especially going to that first point, it seems like there's a lot of rounds to take, but the reality is you're either going straight through or you're making your way around, rotating past the buildings. Like that is the two real paths you can take, and there's plenty of time as the defender to be able to react like that, especially as a Sigma, because you don't have to rotate that far to kind of give yourself a good angle to work with, but that doesn't necessarily say that Guac is only capable of playing the wrecking ball. We could definitely see them bring up their own Sigma, the Malga, who we haven't, thankfully, haven't seen quite yet.
There's too much manga during calling all the heroes, so it was kind of like a really
Yeah.
nice breath of fresh air. Seeing a wrecking ball Sigma composition coming out on Lijiang Tower, which we've always thought was like a brawl map, but what isn't a brawl map yet? Well, semi brawl, depending what point we're talking about, Eichenwald.
Eichenwald. Ooh, Eichenwald. That is be very, very interesting because I think Eichenwald is one of those maps where genuinely I think you can run just about anything.
Mhm.
It is just the situation that it is better in some parts than others. Like, I mean, we see a situation where that hard brawl could be more favorable on third point. Something more dive based or even poke based is really good for second. And I think for first is a complete mixed bag. You could do whatever you realistically wanted to do. So in terms of flexibility, yeah, I mean, yeah, that is a fantastic map pick. I don't know if I think it's a better pick than Midtown though, but again, I've been proven wrong plenty of times. I'm prepared to go through it another.
Right. And I'm also just thinking about it, like, Eichenwald, in terms of its design, right, really leans into each point seems to lean towards a different type of composition better than others, right? You're thinking about first point, something like a brawl works better, and even in the third point. But when you get to that second point with like the numerous high grounds, like you would prefer something that's like more pokey, or even something that can dive if you're on the attacker's side, because that's a lot of high grounds to get through, especially with how the how the payload paths, right, in Eichenwald. So we'll see if that's like the reason that Zuskies decided to pick this map.
Hmm.
But hopefully that's what they're thinking of is, okay, if we're playing the Sigma composition, maybe it works better for us to go to Eichenwald.
I think the sitcom could be one of those things that you could run throughout all 3 points, like realistically so. So I think if they really want to run something like that, they want to remain comfortable on that. I think that's a perfectly fine option. I think their biggest struggle is going to be that initial first point choke. Like that is going to be difficult to run through, especially if it's going to be the ball again, because the idea is they're simply going to cut you off when you try to do your rotations and try to catch out your supports in that manner. So when they go for these rotations, they have to make sure they're clean with them, make sure they're quick with them, and I think they have the potential to do so. Again, I've seen what this team can do. I 100% have faith that they can get through it, but gotta make it happen here because you do not want to go down 0-2 at this point.
Right, but I'm thinking about it. You are right in that the it's easier to intercept rotations, right? Especially for a more stagnant team setup that Zuski seems to be preferring in their compositions. But at the same time, if you manage to if you manage to maybe make your pathing slightly different than usual, right? That may help, you know, make things different and make things less predictable and cause more chaos. Now, is more chaos what Zuskies want? I'm not too sure, but they do need to be a bit more, I guess, proactive on how they're going to play this game. And it looks like out of the gate, Zuskies are going to be defending first and are sticking to what they played on Night Market, which is this Roadhog, Cassidy, Sombra, Ana, Brig composition, expecting Guac to play this Wrecking Ball on Eichenwald. And right now, their guess is pretty much on the mark, right? You have Guac on the Wrecking Ball, Otters on the Venture, and Cynics still sticking to this Pharah, hoping to do lots of poke damage from far away. Now it's the back line that's slightly different. Now you have this Ana Zen, hoping for that very extra melt. And Guac really going the very long way to set things up for his team.
Yeah, but I think Ana Zen, bit of an underrated duo. A little surprised Guac didn't just decide to knock him off the high ground, but choices have been made. At the very least, they are drawing attention of both the supports, while the rest of their team is going to be pushing up, trying to take a little bit of space. But I mean, honestly, with Zuskies still alive, that's going to be a really difficult task. They already get rid of Hannah. You're down to just Zen heals, which means the fight is going to be not a very winnable situation, unfortunately. It's just not really enough, so they're just going to have to wait for Hannah to get back before they re-engage. Ooh!
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Okay, but that's a great pick to start, especially now that Hana is coming back from spawn, and they have this acknowledgement that they have a hog, and now they're just getting kills at the end of the day.
I mean, yeah, 100% here. And with Buzz Lightyear down, it's going to be a little difficult to take care of Cynics. And of course, you see that, them going all at it nicely to be able to clean things up here. And they should be able to cap this point. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to realistically make it back. So now we're going to see if any team's going to opt for any switches. And Zuskies going to bring Zungi. Oh! That's dirty.
That 50 damage on that book mine is actually crazy, but you could see that Fire Puppies are actively thinking on what to play to counter, what they were expecting from Zuskies, which was the hog. And
what?
Oh, that's ambitious.
I mean, you take that trade, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, at the end of the day, you get rid of the tank right there, you're forcing out the Tracer, you're able to push that cart more and more. I don't hate it whatsoever, and you're gonna force them super far out here while Guac still has the support. And as a matter of fact, gonna basically save Guac. Unfortunately, can't do the same for Hannah. And now Cynic's hoping to get it back together, struggling a little bit here. Eventually got to force their way out. Runs into their own Zen, who steals the health pack from them, unconsciously so. But for the time being, just getting a lot of progress. Despite getting harassment in the backline, they are just keeping this thing rolling.
Right, and you can see that each team being smart, making the necessary micro changes on heroes, and these fights are just getting scrappy and scrappy. Revenant still hasn't really died in this high ground. They've managed to keep it a hold along with Parlab, and that really doesn't do much if the payload is still rolling, but the kills do matter at the end of the day, and that Zen should be dead.
Yeah, fight essentially over by now. And now Fire Puppies, have a decent amount of bolts going into this one right now. Cynic's already getting kind of close to another barrage as well. But Zuskies, the important thing, they have the positioning and they have the high ground back to themselves. So now the struggle is going to be honestly getting through it.
Right, and I think Not Vapor, one way you could play the Sombra in this situation also is to constantly hack these health packs so that Guac doesn't really get as much value. Like, he has to take longer lines to try to get himself back up to full HP, but that's a nanoed monkey into your backline.
Yep, and eventually, that's what they wanted. They're going to force... Yeah, they force out Transcendence. It's going to make things a little rough for them here. Zungri hoping to make some kind of difference here, trying to take all this damage, trying to knock people around. Unfortunately,
nice
do they know? Do they know? Do they know?
Chat, they don't know.
Are they going to make it? Are they going to make it? Oh, it's going to be so close.
They don't know.
The nades come online,
oh.
and they get rid of one. It is a genuinely winnable fight. But I mean, the important thing is, even if they die right here, they have essentially pushed this thing completely across the bridge. And Cynic's hoping to clean things up here, right into the monkey's face, hoping to get rid of the Winton. That's a nice move, eventually going to help get rid of Revenant. As they're eventually going to send out the MP, trying to clean this thing up. Looks like they eventually will be able to, but no, not quite yet. Trying to get on the point of eventually not going to find anything with this Pulse Bomb, and it's just one, and they're eventually going to put this in. I mean, what a play for Guac to get that thing so far and force everyone to come back.
Right. Now you see Zuskies making those changes yet again, right? No more Ana on the playing field. You do have this Kiriko, so Zungi making changes that they would get more value than playing this monkey, especially when you're constantly getting melted by that Zen Orb. Zen Orb does a huge amount of damage, and both teams are playing counter Overwatch at this rate. There's been too many hero swaps this whole game, and there's no ults on the field too to play except for Hana's Kiriko Rush, which should would be, played probably in this next fight, probably trying to build up to it for the team.
I mean, yeah, they're just gonna go aggro here. As soon as that shot's out, they're gonna pull back for a couple seconds. They're gonna send it in 3, 2, 1. Send it, Hannah. Nope, I'm wrong. That's perfectly fine though, because they're just trying to hold on to it, hoping to just restabilize really quick. But with walk down, I doubt they're gonna use it now. Probably just want to focus on getting out. And even in the 4v4, 4v3, you know what? Little different here. I don't know. Look,
I was thinking about it, right? Like, no, it makes sense to back out, but then they also lose, like, the Junker Queen, right, mid-fight. So it's just a fair 4v4, but spawns are in favor of Zuskies, so, ooh, that's death.
Yeah, this fight's been going on a very long time. I think Fire Puppies just need a proper reset at this point, because they have a lot going into the fight.
I would love them to have a proper reset, so our cast also has a proper reset, because every time we want to, like, commentate on, like, what the next fight would be, they're just, like, scrappy fights here or there, and this has been a game of scrappy fights, and now with Zuski's 4 ultimates on the board, surely they're able to hold off Fire Puppies for, like, this next deluge, unless, 4 ults, 5 ults, 9 ults, total.
I mean, it's a lot to work with, but genuinely so, the biggest thing here is you want to try to force this cleanse out of Henna, and that's a great way to do it by saying an EMP. It's going to bring back in the Transcendence. Unfortunately, not able to save them, and now the nade's going to come out. It's going to make it more difficult for them to be able to do anything. A nice sleep, going to be able to help things, but Senix going wild, already has 2. Zungri's in the back line, taking rid of his Zenyatta as that cart is trying to move forward. Eventually, it's going to start getting some progress, but eventually, we're going to get pincered here. Senix is not having a good time right now. You know what? Maybe they just barely are. So they're just trying to live on the point for the time being. But again, I think we'll finally get a reset.
We'll finally get a reset, and but that reset is only a nano on the side of Zuskies. But that might actually force Otters out, so they're only going to have this Wrecking Ball Mines and Hannah's Kirito Rush if they do want to push this payload. But it looks like they're opting to just reset and wait for everyone to regroup, with Otters swapping onto the Mei. Hopefully, Great Walls would just, lock people in, and that's a great thing to just focus fire and, pressure out. And it looks like there's just a lot of poking, dry face, and there's the rush that starts it.
Yep, luckily they get us to the Sandal onto Zungri here momentarily. Want to make sure they back out, want to make sure they stay alive, and hopefully get this good skinny rush. And there it goes onto the Junker Queen. A lot of pressure in the backline. They're just going to run right past those. Go for this backline here. Zungri's already got 2, and now they need to get rid of Akko. Will be able to do so. Single bright side for Fire Puppies, though. They will have a chance to reset here, but I think right now Senix just needs to take the reset. Anyway.
Reset, give ult charge, both work. And Zuskies, that was a very cheap fight, I guess. It's for 1 ult versus 2, and we now see Guak switching over to the Rhine, hoping to just brawl it out and see that they are a better brawl against the Junker Queen of Jungi. But maybe that is the current case at this moment. That was a huge anti, and there's not another backtrap, please.
We're not doing this twice. We're not doing this again. Otters does manage to get 1. Meanwhile, still staying alive. Beacon to come online, though, should be able to solve things here. We'll be able to freeze on the point here, but I've seen Senix do some amazing things. I've seen some great things here today. Despite that freeze, I don't think anything really is going to come of it, but still, decent amount of push here for Fire Puppies. Definitely holdable, but we kind of have to talk about how hard they ended up getting held here at this corner for a solid 4 minutes, mind you.
And that just goes to show how maybe the structure of I can wall this, as we explained. Like that third point is very brawl heavy. It's a more challenging time to get value in that point as a wrecking ball. And understanding it takes a bit longer, more difficulty to set up. Zuskies end up just saying, hey, we're just going to, press forward, chase after the more stagnant backline of Fire Puppies. At one point, they were running that Kiriko Zen, and the Zen is just such an easy target to rush onto, especially if you're playing heroes like a Tracer, a Sombra, right, with that Junker Queen, and even with the Lucio, right, to just push forward, int in, and then get the value against the squishier stagnant targets, right? It's okay if you lose your Ana in the process, right? Because at the end of the day, your goal is let's melt everything first, faster, and then we could just regroup with our Ana. The Ana's goal is really to just survive. And coming to this fight, Zuskies rolling out with that same composition that they managed to hold Fire Puppies at on third point. Fire Puppies, though, do staying to their tried and true Farah, Venture, Wrecking Ball, but this time with a Kiriko and Zen lineup. So we're expecting a lot more poke and a lot of as more setting up and target focus. I think that's what Fire Puppies needs to focus on, is making sure they're always on that same target to get maximum value from the high damage output that this composition has. And this is an interesting play from Walker.
Yep, it gets a whole bag of nothing, unfortunately. We'll get slept as well, so now they're just going to try to run down this back line. We'll trade out, though, just down to the Ana heals right now. Vapor going down as well, though. Going to be a bit of a difference here as right now. Zuskies hoping to just regroup here, hoping to make sure people stay alive. Remnant, unfortunately, not going to be in that category. There's a lot of back and forth happening right now. A really unfortunate time to have to reload for Guac there, but still putting in absolute work. Trying to be a menace here as they're going to get hacked as well. Eventually forced back. Taking a bunch of damage, doing a great job at staying alive. And same thing for Hannah and Akko right now, who are back in this fight, keeping things going, getting harassed at the backline, but still managing to stay alive here. As right now just hoping to come together on a target. Unfortunately, Guac going to go down. Going to make this a nigh impossible fight win now for Fire Puppies. Hannah gets one, but a retouch here is going to be very difficult, and Zenix is going to have to be very awesome here with this coming ult. Going to use it, going to try to send it, but they end up getting essentially booped away. Lucio eventually dies, and they're going to whirl these ults in, hoping to find something. And with Guac stalling on the point, it is a grand possibility, but with the hack coming through, I think finally we're going to see this point get given up.
Right, like Guac does need to back off a bit, and rather than forcing the issue and trying to keep the first point alive, they say, hey, let's take that high ground, which is so much better for, I guess, like our Farah to play, or even for our ball to get free slams. And this is where they're set up. Castle is such a good place for them to set up, especially with this pokier setup that they're going for. Pulse Bomb is released by Buzz, and doesn't really get anything other than, potential fear that it might have been close to you. Ooh, that's a pick though from Vapor on Akko.
Unfortunately, Akko dying first a lot, and that's kind of the situation when you're running this Zenyatta. You don't really have a whole lot of choice in the matter. If you get caught out, that's kind of it. You're going to see it now. They're just going to swap to Lucio. Through that same game, the triple direct right there. Unfortunate for Karm. Get a little bit of revenge there, as it's a lot of back and forth, but the most important thing is that payload is finally starting to get moving, and it's going to get past one of the, I think, most difficult places to kind of push through here.
Yes, and it wouldn't even be much of an issue too, given that Zuskies do have 4 ults on the board, and the only thing that Fire Puppies has at this moment is this Wrecking Ball Mines, which would be great to stall the point, delay and create more time, put people in a choke, but with that hack, maybe that's not so easy.
Yep, literally gonna, from the top row, get rid of Buzz Light. You're gonna cause a little bit of controversy in the backline. Gonna cut people off temporarily, but honestly, we just need to regroup here as Guac really is going wild here, trying to find another target here, but I think for the time being, Fire Puppies just need to take the regroup and then pincer in together. That's what they're doing right now.
Right, and you give yourself some time with the Wrecking Ball Mines, which, in my opinion, take forever on the board, right? So you get a bit more seconds for them not to touch point, but now you're seeing Zuskies just push the point, and that's an EMP, right? Gets 2 and gets 3, and so much value, and it's fight end, right? Might as well just regroup, go back to the drawing board, figure out which ults we're going to use in this next fight, and Hana being the last one to die through all of that is such a pain, given that she has that Kiriko rush. So now all we have coming through this next defense on second point for Fire Puppies is the Venture ultimate, and they do get Buzz at the process though.
I mean, yeah, this should be a holdable thing here for Fire Puppies. And they're eventually going to back out a little bit because they don't want to lose anybody more, so they need to come out here. Trying to set a forward position here, trying to get rid of Revenant, who's literally sitting on 1 health right now. Eventually, we'll do it. The next coming down as well, but we should be able to see a stabilization here for Fire Puppies. But I do think they just need to back out. And honestly, at this point, I think Guac might need to start considering the swap. They are just constantly getting harassed every single fight, barely able to even survive and do the job of harassing this backline.
I think that comes with knowing that, in my personal opinion, Lucio is such a better his mate support to deal with a Wrecking Ball just because of the boots, but Otter does get Revenant, so there's not really much they could do right now other than die on point, reset, and they are coming, Zuskies are coming in with 4 ults the next point. Why are we beating?
I mean, they want to try to win this right here and now. They're going to beat back just to kind of bring back some stability here, as Zinix and Otters are going to be back momentarily here. Zinix is going to be a major force, and I say that, and there's that pick right away on Karm. Right now, that passive not going to allow for the Junk Queen to kind of get boosted away, but we're going to see a Nano come online here. They want to try to win this fight right here and now. Has the ult, might not need it right now, but they're still even as things are said right now. Zinix hoping to survive a direct in the middle of the air as well. Now just 2 on the point here. Zinix literally gets hit from the knife from afar. Struggling a little bit here, but it's looking like they should be able to stabilize. They just have to make their way back to the point. And at the very least, try to get rid of Karm here, who is trying to get out, and they might. They will. Oh, never mind.
It's really waiting for Sinex to do that, right? I was like, is he just gonna barrage this Lucio? Because really at that one moment, it made so much sense. And ultimates are being used by Zuskies hoping to get this point, but the mines might make it a bit more of a struggle, and Glock cannot get out!
That is so amazing, pulling them back in, but Fight's not over yet, gonna dive in through, not gonna get hacked. Otters is at 80% right now. There is the possibility they get this ult. Amazing to spot them right there, 90% and counting. Sungri not gonna be able to stay alive here, 26 seconds and counting. We'll see eventually a reset here, and I mean, Zuskies essentially use almost everything. It's just going to come down to this EMP.
But EMP is such a huge game player, especially when Akko doesn't have a beat to deal with this. The only thing you can do is maybe, Otters gets huge value from the Venture ult. But if you can EMP Otters, right, and then just kill it right away, there's not much you can do. See, like, great play.
Yeah, Akko going to get rid of one, but things can be traded out directly once again here. Otto's going to try to hunt these people down, and it's just a constant trade out. But remember, at the end of the day, this is going to benefit Fire Puppies more than it is for Zuskies here. Especially with Sungri going to be sitting at 1, kind of like the last stand for this group. Karm coming up to this beat, 93%, needs to try to live, is getting so close to it. Not going to get the opportunity, though. No one else going to be able to retouch here. That will put Fire Puppies on match point here. Another tightly contested one, but again, a situation where they're just 1 or 2 fights better.
Right. Fire Puppies, while they're playing, right, I think they lean in very well into this chaos situation. I think, if I wouldn't be surprised, if the call-outs more than anything on this team is identifying who is really low. Because everyone seems to be on the same page on, who's the lowest target on Zuskies, and just melting that person so that one by one the players of Zuskies are just losing out, and Zuskies not really having much time to regroup. So it's back to the drawing board for them, but Fire Puppy's really showing that even if they're tossed into Eichenwald, they are still getting value from this ball composition, especially on that second point defense, right? It makes sense, right? Hey, if we stop them on second point defense, we don't have to worry about defending the third point, which is, we did see that they weren't able to fully cap the third point, right? So if it had hit that third point, it might have been a bit more dicey for Fire Puppies. But great job on both teams, like making this really scrappy and interesting to commentate one way or another. It feels like fights never really end, and once we think a fight ends, someone gets a pick and everyone just seems to be interested in like, oh, we got a pick, let's just go in.
I mean, yeah, 100%. And now the real struggle now should be here for Fire Puppies, because it's Flashpoint. And regardless of whether we go to New Junk City, whether we go to Saravasa, I think almost undisputably so, these are maps that are very heavily favored towards the Brawl style compositions. Now, if I'm in the position where I want to go to a place where I don't think they're going to bring out the ball, I think potentially going to New Junk City is going to be the better decision. I do think there's a lot of dive potential looking at Saravasa. And I do think if you still want to try to rock the Hug, or if you want to rock the Junker Queen, I mean, it's literally New Junk City. I think that's a fantastic choice. But I don't think either is necessarily the wrong choice. It might just come down to preference and comfortability, quite frankly.
I think it's preference, comfortability, and honestly, at the end of the day, we're talking about watch point. It's RNG, right? You're guaranteed what the first point is on watch point, but you're never guaranteed on what second, third, fourth, fifth is. So if you've played enough of watch point, you know that certain points work better for certain heroes or certain compositions versus others, right? For some, you might actually get more value for something that's a brawlier setup. For others, you might actually get some value playing the ball character because there are some level of high grounds, right? Easy roll throughs, easy, mechanically tech that you can just do. So it becomes a matter of how lucky are we and which map do we have the most comfortability with all 5 points, right? Which one is going to lean towards us better? And hey, if there's one thing that I am appreciative of for both teams, especially Zuskies, is that they are trying to find answers, right? You could see that they are making these small swaps, right? Picking a hog over, sticking to a Sigma because of the ball character. Going back and forth between an Ana, a Kiri versus a Zen and a Brig, right? They're trying to find answers, sometimes getting that value they need, but ultimately it seems like bit of short of the mark. So I would be interested to see where they're going to head for Watchpoint.
Yeah, and I think when we get into the situation, there's one or two things that you can do as a team. And one is to just go back to the tried and true, the thing you've been scrimming, practicing a lot, the thing you've been running all tournament, which I think in a lot of senses is going to be that Sigma, potentially even that Junker Queen as well, which they were doing a fantastic job on as well. But the other thing is to do what they were kind of doing before. They started experimenting a little bit. They started swapping things around because sometimes it is just a situation where you are trying to find the key to beating their comp, and it can be just one swap. Like we saw the adjustment going over to the Sombra, it made things very difficult for Guac to do their job, and I think things got a little bit closer than I originally thought they would with Guac getting shut down the way they were. So I'm curious which round they're going to take, and in my own mind, I think their map choice is kind of going to decide which route they're going down, and it looks like they're going with the tried and true because we're going over to New Junk City, where we're going to see if Guac is put to the test here, if they're still going to rock the ball, and if they're going to be able to do it successfully.
My opinion is the first point of New Junk City, right? Really experienced ball players would know that there are different ways you could path onto the point. And I personally think the first point of New Junk City is like the best time to like roll out with Wrecking Ball. I think there's a lot of angles you can come in from and different ways to rotate, and even where the point is, if you notice, like the first point of New Junk City is on the low ground, right? That's an easy free slam without even having to waste a grapple, right? That's a free slam, and then you could just grapple away rather than like grappling up and then having to slam. That's 2 cooldowns. So I'm interested to see how Zuskies are going to play into that, and rather than playing the Sombra, it seems like Not Vapor is planning to play the Mei into this. Now Fire Puppies though, this is a lot of spam damage, and playing a Moira into this might actually just be the answer.
I mean, potentially so. I mean, we're going to find out with this first fight here as things going in. Zuskies got to be careful how they want to rotate this, because again, Guac is just hoping to kind of get up and be able to kind of cut them off through the rotations, but they're staying inside a very rough place to get into for Guac, and he's just hoping to be able to kind of pull up and just slam down, and they know, they literally know, and they're going to wait until that runs out. The moment they see that go away, they're going to push, and they do it anyway, but that's perfectly fine, because they're going to take a bunch of space over, going to try to evade that point. Unfortunately, Revenant not very lucky, not able to really get through here. Could be a little bit of a rough situation now for Buzz Lightyear, who's getting forced around, eventually going to be in a rough situation of their own going down, and I think it's a slowly but surely moment as Hannah is somehow managing to survive through all of this, that they will be able to clean things up as Not Vapor are going to have to use their freeze to be able to stay alive. Point going to flip. That's clean as can be. Like, Zuskies waited and they still get caught out in the rotation.
And a lot also because like there is that tendency for Zuskies also to just split up. I noticed that Buzz Lightyear went on a different angle, which makes sense if you're playing a Sojourn, right? And Not Vapor, seeing what they're running, decides that a Mei isn't how this works, but it looks like Synex is using the third-person POV from the laydown emote in order to get a tire.
Yeah, it's going to send it. It's going to get one, and that's important enough here, because now he's not going to have that beat online to kind of have stage any kind of counter now, but single bright side is they might be able to keep 3 alive here. Revenant going down, a bit of a pain. Vapor, the only one who is currently out of there, which means there will be a retouch. Everyone can honestly go for a retouch, but Vapor decides to reveal themselves instead.
I feel like that's kind of like a rough situation to be, because they now know where you are, and they're just going to chase. Now your goal is, hopefully to get enough away that, just in time for your team to push, but it's not enough, right?
Yeah. Can't force it.
You can't really force it, and Zuskies just have to play the next point, and and they do have ults coming online with that beat, which would be a great answer maybe to this incoming Cold Essence probably from Hana, but I don't think it's gonna be much of a game changer when it comes to Venture's ultimate. So let's see how this goes, but I'm looking this might be in favor of Fire Puppies just from the ultimate setup they have right now.
Yeah, we're gonna go back in favor. Excavation not gonna find anything quite yet. Does force that, but Zinix already gonna be down here. Mine's gonna come online, try to cut off his team. I saw Buzz Lightyear get sent into space once again, and eventually will be taken out here. Akko hoping to stay alive. Hannah providing as many heals as they possibly can to keep things going. And with Block getting 2 with these mines, looking like it's gonna potentially be successful here. Hoping to keep Revenant alive, unfortunately not going to be able to do so, and Zunkri, honestly, not even hope of staying alive, just hope of getting as much ult charge as they possibly can here as, again, just really clean to kind of surround Zuskies when they go for these engagements.
Right, and a lot is just, you know, it seems like Guac has a great understanding on just how to set up value for their team, and while Zuskies do have this Kiriko ultimate coming in and this Whole Hog, I think the Whole Hog might be a great answer. And I figured they would get Synex with that great hack, and that makes things easier for Zuskies to take this next point.
Yeah, Zinix not going to have that tire to work with here, and Guac is going to get annihilated as well. So the double investment ends up working out in their favor, and even more beautifully so. Going to hold on to that EMP, so going to have the countermeasure for this coming fight. Really didn't make sure not to go down. They're going to invest in here. Hopefully they don't end up going down. They end up getting super low. Barely managed to stay alive, but that was one heck of a risk.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. Hopefully this gets probably just gonna get 1 or 2. It's an early TP. It's gonna get 2 then. I figured it would get 2 because that was an early TP from Not Vapor, and one way you could partly bait out that tire, right? I think very patient of Synex to wait for that Sombra to TP out just so that they know that the Sombra has no more escape, and that's just a deluge of damage from our puppies.
That's a 3K, and that's probably the end of second point, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the end of second point, and no time really to use that EMP or High Noon, so they do have it for the next point, but it becomes a bit of a struggle of like, who are they going to target with this EMP? Are we going to, let's see, EMP the Lucio, hopefully melt them before, you know, the beat comes to life? Or are we somehow just EMPing the mines on point because mines take forever to disappear?
I mean, you gotta make a choice, but at this point, I don't think you have to invest it, but they're gonna double down for anyway. Gonna just counter with the beat. Akko make sure to kind of hide in an area where they couldn't really be detected by it. But I think the damage has already been done here, and it looks like Zuski's in a very good situation to finally start out with the point here. Doing a lot of damage onto Guac, but Guac has no right going down here with as much health as they have, so point. Gonna start for Zuskies, but Fire Puppy should be able to get a quick re-engagement here.
Right, and mine's invested by Guac though, so I'm not sure if it's because to limit the people in the room. This tire may get some value.
They know.
Yeah, but that's not bad of a trade. That's less damage coming in from that Junkrat, and if we're talking about damage in, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, that whole hogging ball into a corner. Oh my gosh, that's a hog.
Yep, that's gonna do that fight right there, and they invest a lot to be able to do so, but so do Fire Puppies, quite frankly. Hannah's gonna die late as well, which means that this engagement...
That's a trade.
And honestly, you
that's a worth it trade, I'll be real with you. Like,
yeah,
honestly. Yeah, right? Like, that's a heals down, that's cold essence down, so there's nothing really to sustain or even engage in for Fire Puppy. So Zuskies can hold on to this point much longer, and with Zungi just pressuring out, you know, the potential flanks, they're doing a great job buying more time for the team, and I think this High Noon is just going to provide more value also for the team, especially with Otters and Akko both being down.
Yeah, you just hold on to ults, you just focus on fourth point at this point in time. Overtime gonna come through, not really gonna matter though. Eventually, Hannah can be the only one to get out here as the fourth point going to open up here. Same way as they started, they're gonna have the EMP for this next fight.
Right, but this time, right, Fire Puppies with Hana not using their Coalescence means they do have something to start off the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Hana pops Coalescence, there's going to be an EMP that follows. It's either that or there's a High Noon that comes with it. And Zuskies managed to take the point first, and their goal is really to keep it that way, with Cynic switching over now to the Sojourn for that more long distance poke, right? Hoping to do more damage from a distance.
Yeah, Squawk doing a really good job trying to cause a little bit of separation. EMP online gonna hit both DPS, but Coalescence is gonna be online, does not get affected, and now it's gonna be a rough fight. It's just Buzz Lightyear hoping to hold on to this, because I don't think it's gonna have any real use at this point. But the beat's gonna come online, it's only gonna get 2 of them. It's not even a question of being able to stall for percentage. They're not gonna be able to do anything on this point, so they give up the beat as well.
That's painful. It is painful considering that Fire Puppies are coming in this next fight with like 4 ultimates, and there really isn't much of an answer to any of these ultimates, right? At this point, High Noon against this comp is pretty much cosmetic if you think about it. And with this ult, Zuskies are forced to just back out, right?
Yep, nades are going to come out here, literally going to murder Walk right there. We'll be able to clear out a bunch of the mines. We'll be able to set them up to be able to go to the point. But Fire Puppies have multiple options if they want to try to hold on to things here. Revenant getting low here. The beat going to come online. They're trying to double down, trying to win this thing. Phoenix going to have a second dose of life here. Not being taken out, though. In a rough place right now, being dragged down, but Zungree's going to be the one that's going to pay for it. Pay for trying to bring this back for them as well here. They're going to do a great job of separating a little bit, but unfortunately, Jets coming one after another here. Zungree, look at they go over to the Doomfist. Need to be able to set up for a touch, but it's just right now, just Karma on the point, hoping to do something, hoping to find a retouch here. Not going to be doable. Fire Puppies are going to move on to the grand finals.
Fire Puppies doing a great job with this ball composition, sticking to, I guess, something that they're all their comfort heroes, it seems like, right? And just getting value from the compositions that they are running. Lots of displacement, which means you have to be aware on who you're going to be targeting on. And for a team like Huskies, that they did a pretty good job like trying to still stay competitive, right? A lot of these fights were scrappy, and a lot of, at the end of the day, it was just who can manage the scrappiness better, and it was Fire Puppies. So great job to both teams, right? And no, there's more time to figure out where we're headed with this match.
I mean, yeah, 100%. And all things considered, this was a relatively close 3-0. I know we kind of saw a couple of scenarios where like Fire Puppies kind of showed off their dominance, but I don't think there was ever a point where we could sit here and like genuinely think that Zuskies did not have a chance in this one. They fought hard, just again, a lot of these were just 1-fight, 2-fight situations that honestly could have gone either way. Just unfortunate situation, but they put their heart out there. I could appreciate that more than anything else.
Right, I appreciate Zuski's willingness to like constantly make these changes, try to find the answers, finding the answer, and then their answer being, you know, wrong again because Fire Puppies decided to do something else.
What?
And so it looks like our grand finals then are going to be Fire Puppies against Overworked. And that's pretty much a great thing for Fire Puppies because they did lose out on against Hivemind on their Swiss stage, right? So you wouldn't ideally want to go up against the team, you know, you lost against unless you've gotten a better idea of how to play it. But Fire Puppies versus Overworked, let's see how that goes.
I mean, I'm excited for it. It's not the grand finals I thought I'd see, but I'm still very excited to kind of see it go down. And I don't know. I don't know how to word it better than that. It's just a kind of exciting, a bit bittersweet to have the final match of the weekend coming before us. But again, it's been for a fantastic cause. It's been a fantastic weekend. It's not over quite yet, though, Thor, because again, you can still donate. You still have things you can win. You can get your sticker, that background. You kind of see that logo flying around that could be yours for $3. And of course, you could get the raffle for coaching from Spilo and one from Natter as well for a $5 donation. So go ahead, donate. We haven't had a ton of traction today as we have the goal for 2,000. You guys absolutely annihilated the previous goal as well. So you guys have done a fantastic job this weekend. But got one more match to go and potentially a while to go as well, as both these teams should have a pretty closely contested fight.
Right, and it looks like this will be an interesting challenge for both teams, right? Fire Puppies and Overworked. Both teams, I think, coming out from that very clean 3-0. Not sure how it turned out on the side of Overworked versus Hive Mind, how close it was, but definitely Fire Puppies had to put in a lot of work just to get this 3-0.
I mean, yeah, 100% here. Of course, we're going to be able to see these teams clash. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break, let both these teams prepare for this grand finals that are going to be coming your way right after this break.
Hi everyone, just a quick little announcement. We're about to do the draws for the coaching raffle tickets for Spilo and Nata. It's $5 an entry. We'll be doing them, I think, on the half hour, so you got 12 minutes left. You can do exclamation mark donate if you'd like to get involved. You get, I don't know if it's an hour, it's some sort of coaching session with 2 Overwatch grades. So make sure you get your donations in and you choose the rewards that you would like within the next 10 minutes, and then we'll be drawing that as we get the grand final started up. After that, donations will still be open for the rest of the night, but you just won't be able to choose those as donations. We have a few stickers left as well. Yesterday we had 9 left out of our 40 odd, and I can have another check now to see how many we have left. But make sure if you would like them, you send those donors in. Very important. Let me have a quick look. Incentives. No, I can't see. I have to do the other thing. But yeah, get your donations in. We're at 1611, which is a crazy amount. If I go to donate, you can do exclamation mark donate or solomon.gg/donate. There are 4 stickers left. $3 a sticker. It'll be sent to you free international ship. Free US shipping. And US shipping only. If you'd like some stickers, $3 to a wonderful charity. And final call for raffle entries for the Spilo or Nata coaching raffles. Thanks so much. We're going to have the all BPL finals in a couple of minutes' time once we're ready. Which is really funny. I mean, they've just gone kind of crazy. Look at these rosters. Maybe I'll put them on their official pages just to be nice. But we'll see you in a couple of minutes' time. Last call for raffle entries to the coaching. BB.
And we are back here for the finals coming up on deck. I'm Matt and Nevat. I'm joined by the wonderful and talented Gio, and we have been seeing some amazing games tonight. Listen, on B stream, on A stream, it's been nothing but good stuff. But we have finally made it to the end. Gio, how are we feeling?
Man, it's been some ride. These teams have had different trajectories in this tournament with overworked, needing to overcome their previous logo to get to a good one. And maybe that means that they've reached their final form in this finals as they've brought themselves back up from the brink after an absolutely historically heroic run on an amazing extra round of Route 66 yesterday, which took me to 5 a.m. of casting, but I loved every second of it. And Fire Puppies just looked so clean. So this is really going to be up to Overwork to keep that trajectory going, to basically be the underdogs and take down the Fire Puppies.
Absolutely, and it's gonna be a match made in heaven here tonight even. But at the end of the day, we also are here for charity, of course. And you guys have seen that number has been slowly increasing since yesterday. I think yesterday, of course, we hit our $1,000 goal during the night, and then suddenly, guys, we have made $700 more just the next day. So of course, we have a stretch goal of $2,000, which is looking a lot closer than expected. So a little more donations would be really appreciated, especially since we only have 2 more minutes until we start pulling the winners of the coach raffle. Donate $5 to, last chance to donate at least $5 to be entered into a raffle to get some coaching from either Spilo or Nader. So two extremely well talented coaches who know what they're talking about and can definitely help you out there.
Yeah, there's been so much generosity so far from across the community, and people coming in with the smallest amount of donations to the biggest amount of donations. Everything helps this amazing charity. The PCRF, if you don't know yet, is a charity that's been around for decades, helping children across the Levant, and of course specifically in Palestine and right now in Gaza. They have boots on the ground efforts to help the children in need and give them that humanitarian aid that they need. That's what every piece of this pie is going towards. I want to shout out UKN Esports for the $50 donation that happened over the break, and then Clayton O'Tron with the $25. Thank you very much. That puts us at over $1,700, which is incredible, which means about 24 hours ago we had about $1,000 less than we do now for this amazing charity. So incredible. In fact, we just got another donation in there from Curvatis for $15. It just keeps on going.
Yeah, absolutely. And a little note from Curvatus saying we need more monkey, and I agree.
Yes.
let's shift our focus really fast back to the match at hand. Let's see where our teams had to go to get to this point. Let's take a quick gander at the bracket, just real fast, and have a relive moment of what we saw just today in semifinals. On the B stream, we did see Overwork get a beautiful 3-0 over Hivemind, and then of course over on our side of things, just previously we had just seen a nice 3-0 from Fire Puppies themselves. So two teams who are very comfortable going for that 3-0 win. And for Grands, I'm excited. It's still first to 3. It's still anyone's game, and it's going to be super close. And I do want to mention both teams here having a loss in round 2, funnily enough. So 2 may not be our lucky number right now. So, but give me a really fun time.
Yeah, and also both the teams have a loss against a team that the other team 3-0'd, which is an interesting dynamic, and it creates this kind of like rock, paper, scissors between the teams, but obviously these two just a little bit better than both Hivemind and Zuskies there. I was watching Fire Puppies because it's Overwork that we've seen a lot of. We've seen them really be building and building and building to an amazing crescendo, and this might just be their moment to continue it and cement their legacy. But Fire Puppies we haven't seen as much of on the broadcast, but they are by far a very challenging opponent. You have Guac on the tank lineup, who has been playing the Wrecking Ball to an amazing degree and really making it work in this Overwatch 2 world where Wrecking Ball doesn't get a lot of done. Is a role star in their own right, was a runner-up in the Winter Soda 22, funnily enough being beaten by Cynex and Otters their own teammates in this tournament. So they're actually joined forces with people that have knocked them out of a finals before to try and win a finals now. Senex, of course, you know, historic player, BPL 1 champion. You heard it, BPL 1 champion. So if you didn't know the name Senex, you better get it known. Otters themselves, like I said, Winter Snowdown champion in 22 by beating Guac. Of course, they were on the team with Cinex. Akko and Hannah are a little bit newer in terms of like the BPL database, but they've been performing really well in that support lineup, keeping them alive. And then, of course, you have Dilby coming in, who was a beta Brawl champion and a Snowdown Role champion in itself. So very strong team for the side of Overwork to go up against when they themselves have had to go through a lot of hurdles in that lower bracket to get here.
Absolutely, and like we've been saying, Five Puppies is the higher seed here, number 2 seed if I recall correctly, and Overwork being the 4th seed. So would be a really cool upset and a really cool little win under their belt if they do get the W tonight for Watch Over Palestine charity tournament. And as always, we're gonna be starting off on the beloved Lijiang Tower, well known, and everyone understands and knows how to play this beautiful map. And like you have been saying, we had mentioned a little bit of that ball that we've been seeing earlier from Fire Puppies, but on Lijiang Tower, it'd be really interesting to see if they do incorporate that more niche hero at the moment. But at the same time, we know that Lijiang Tower, people love to play that brawl, whether it's a Ram brawl, Ryan brawl, even. I would love me a good Ryan brawl. I love Ryan. Love me a good brawl at any day of the week, especially as we're starting off very quickly here, seeing a quick little gander at the comps we have so far.
Yeah, looking at it, this is about what I was expecting to see from both sides. As this series goes on, though, we know January likes to go on to the Sombra and does very well with it. That can very easily disrupt Whack, especially if Shoreline is going to be on that Cassidy and also with that Hindernade. So Whack's going to have to be very careful that they're not caught out enough for King to just click them like it's Cookie Clicker and eat them for dinner.
Yeah, and we already see it going over to the White Room. That Malga from King gonna be a big pain for the most of Fire Puppies here, but it's a-okay with Hana, of course, on this Morva. Gonna be providing a lot of sustain with those healing orbs and, of course, the damage as well. Gonna be seeing a little bit of flank coming in from Guac, who's gonna be kind of putting a little bit of a pain in Silvertail's backside, and the entire team is kind of looks over to the hamster and run, and now it forces Guac to kind of run away. The point is most dominantly in Overwork's favor right now, as it flips immediately for them, and Fire Puppies looks, looking like they had to back up a little bit and reset the situation.
Yeah, low health there. You have to keep yourself up with Silvertail's getting that healing in January. Super low though. Needs to watch out they're not caught out. King needing to run back. Meanwhile, Fire Puppies continue to struggle to get in. They're just kind of poking and prodding with the damage from Cinex.
And even then, even more difficult is Akko going down so quickly from Shoreline Pie. And I hear a very fast beat from Kern Master after losing Silvertails, meaning that, Overwork can continue this power, this dominance they're having. Venture having no dig, unfortunately missing that hinder, and that allows Otters to take care of that counter pick very quickly. But King and Jenny are right on top of it, making sure this point stays for Overwork.
Yeah, the higher the beat is, the cooler it looks, therefore the better it is. But yeah, that was an incredible speed of building it. Just another reason why Kern Master, a role star in their own right, is just so suited for this role. High Noon's ready to create some space. Mind opens it up. Meanwhile, it's the rolling Mind that's on the horizon.
Does it find anyone? Can be kind of staggering a little bit here, trying to find any kind of target. Might be the Venture, might be anyone, and it unfortunately gets nobody. The rest of Overwork backed up enough from the Mines and the Junkrat Tire, but at the same time, we are going to be seeing the point flip over to Fire Puppies for a second. High Noon does get popped over for Overwork. Shoreline Pie almost making it out. Thankfully does just in nick of time, as Fire Puppies are forced to kind of retreat here. The fight starts to look a little bit scary there, and thankfully Guac able to take out Shoreline Pie, and Sinai's going down for the count. So they're pretty much even right now, as the continuing rush from Silvertails, and coupled with a 4th January Titanic Shock, might prove to be fatal, especially as Otter is going down almost immediately after that fight.
It was a good rotation from Overwork to just kind of go away from the Mines and the Tire, but they had to invest a little bit more than they wanted to get back onto it, especially now only just getting it. And now they're going to look to utilize this cage. They will have the Soundbar, but they're up against a lot of ultimates, particularly that Coalescence from Hannah, who almost went down there. has going to be a lot of healing and sustain to push the team forward and to get aggressive. Maybe Synex and Otters can be a little bit more aggressive and look for those eliminations.
For sure, and I would love to see that coalition be used as a counter to King's cage fight, which is coming up right now. At any point, you saw Guac come over, try to get a little bit of some contesting, try to get a little cheeky backtrap, not gonna be able to do it, but forces over back right back up and forces out that cage, as well as that coalescence we talked about earlier, as well as Akko's sound barrier. So that's double support modes that are gonna be used here at the same time, and as well as Kermaster getting not a second sound barrier so quickly after another. Seeing another Rip Tower coming through from Synex. This time has to get somebody, and it gets Kernmaster immediately. We have also seen the minefields be used up on that white room, so no one is able to really escape, and they're forced onto the point where everyone starts to get split up, and Otters putting in all the damage over time right on top of King on the Malgo, who's all by their lonesome, forcing over to back up. A really good pick from Zolan Pi on Synex there.
Yeah, that was a great choice to go to Kernmaster with the tire. You don't have that boop displacement for Guac. Now Guac can go a little bit more aggressive to get the point. Now they want to be building their own tectonic shock. However, it's going to be a nice early push here with the high noon, and then they can use this rush on the point after it's over.
And we are going to be seeing that rush come through, as well as the Deadeye. The rush coming, helping Shoreline Pi actually find Akko in the line of fire, unfortunately for them. But it's still a one-team fight so far for Overlord, where King takes care of Glide, January takes care of the other Venture, and Shoreline Pi, once again, just kind of popping off on this Cassidy. We're going to see a last-minute touch from Akko, but unfortunately, it's a little bit too slow there. Lucio's speed was not enough. We're seeing a 1 point on the board for Overworked on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, great stuff so far from Overworked. You know, you see already their rotations are very smart. They know that they can accept to lose that point for a bit. Now, they did struggle to get back onto the point without overusing the ultimates that they wanted to use, but they did eventually get it, and that was basically their play to, you know, leave the area, come back into it, utilizing that high noon to give themselves that space, and then the Kitsune Rush to solidify the space and make it their own. Now, on this more open map, you think Fire Puppies will have this one, right? Well, Overworked, they know that they're at a disadvantage compositionally, so they're swapping it up. Diva for a little bit more of poke and peel, with January going to be looking for those hacks on either the squishy targets or just to disrupt Guac.
Alright, see, yeah, the disruption also worked out so well. That hack is still a pretty solid counter to Bob. He gives him a little more individuality after his rework, but Sombra is still a great pick, especially with January at the helm. And me seeing King on this default, just make sure that no one's able to get any kind of advantage state with this defense matrix, completely negating things like that Pharah Pharah primary fire. So much so that Synex chooses to swap off and go over to the Tracer, which I'm a big fan of, and Otters staying over onto the Venture. Synex can be a big pain here as they're starting to get some flanks going on this Kiriko. Poor guy, I understand Silver. Able to get out of there, and Otters, where'd you go?
Oh,
Otters, no!
That's not good. I mean, I know it looks like a pond, and otters are pond-faring creatures at times, but it's a hologram. You can't go there. Now, you see it already, Synex struggling to get what they want with the Tracer, because immediately King's going to be there with the Diva. That Diva being a heal factor for Overworked is going to be really annoying, the way that Fire Puppies want to play this with their multiple angles.
We're seeing Otters going for that dig there, and big pressure on Guac, but not enough with that pulse on to actually connect on anything. Missing the whole ultimate here, but thankfully we are going to be coming up on Silvertal's Kitsune Rush as well, and Synex and January both going down. A nice DPS trade for trade. Gimme seeing Shoreline Pi comes right back, and the fight is starting to really crank it up with that Kitsune Rush coming in from Silvertal's. Although they fell very early on, it can still work so well for Overworked as Shoreline Pi gets rid of Otters at the same time. But man, Guac is right on a roll. January is still on the point, unable to really hack Guac out of that ball form. So thankfully, Fire Puppies has some stability here as they finally turn the point in their favor. Oh,
nope.
King is back.
Baited. Yeah, King's back, gonna stay alive. If they feel like they want it, they might even, beat for it. They actually want to keep this one. January's on their way back with EMP. This could be a winning fight.
We also have Diva Bomb on the back end, so they have so many ultimates to kind of clear so much space. And King is just putting the pressure on Otters at the same time. Poor guy. Semifinals once again dying for the third time in this team fight. Forces out that Diva Bomb, and it gets Aqua at the same time. While can't take the pressure is exiting out of the battle, and we get a rare stick on the Tracer from Shoreline Pie. Beautiful awareness, and it's just looking like Overworked is really working themselves to the limit.
And do you hear it? That's the crescendo. It's building and it's building and it's getting louder as Overworked are continuing their exponential growth, their exponential growing as a team. And they are getting better and better, and you can see it. And just the way they knew, wait, hold on. Looks like Shoreline Pie here, staying on the point, is actually keeping it alive. King touches, knows that they have the bomb to stay in. By the time you see Curemaster come back, they have Sound Barrier, utilize that to stay in, and suddenly it becomes survive until the EMP comes in. The EMP gives enough pressure that the rest of the team folds for Fire Puppies, and suddenly, on a map where you'd say, okay, Fire Puppies are a Wrecking Ball team, they have Lijiang Gardens, right? No. Overworked have scouted them perfectly, and suddenly Fire Puppies' very good basket of eggs looks to be in danger of cracking.
You're absolutely right. The team that we were kind of rooting for here, just by basis of seed number, is looking a little bit lost here. The ball comp, I think, would work a little bit better on different maps, which we're going to be going over to very quickly as we escort ourselves over to hybrid, of course. And we're going to be seeing a pick from either Midtown, Blizzard Road, or Eichenwald. Been seeing a little bit of all three kind of picked around for the past weekend. So anyone's pick as to what could be happening here, but like we had mentioned, Overworked is just on their A game. Like you said, they got a new graphic, they're ready, they're a brand new team, and they're ready to roll, especially as they have a point lead. And again, first of 3 series, you want to finish it out strong for the map 2 and map 3 and just close it out for a night. And I think Overworked, that's going to be their goal at hand.
Yeah, maybe Overwatch were like, wait, hold on, we can actually win this tournament. Should we have a little bit of a glow up? And well, I call that a glow up. Yeah, it's a nice easier on the eyes, and it does honor the old one as well. I like how they actually decided to honor the old logo in their new logo. So I respect the sticking to tradition, essentially. It looks like it's Midtown that we'll be going to here. And, you know, looking at the map types and thinking about what Wrecking Ball is going to be best at for Guac, you would have maybe not fought Midtown. You would have maybe leaned Blizzard World. Very open map, lots of flank routes. Plays into that. Maybe Fire Puppies after Lijiang Gardens are like, wait, suddenly we see that King's Diva's pretty good at getting this peel, and it's a little bit more difficult when Shoreline Pie's with them on the Tracer. So maybe going for a Midtown to try and change things up and see if they have a different strategy available to them.
Absolutely, and I'm excited to see Midtown. Honestly, we could also be seeing a comp swap at some point coming in from Fire Puppy, especially because, like you had mentioned, the ball comp doesn't work as strongly, especially on first point with how long the sightlines are and how cramped they can be very quickly. So I could be very open to seeing that Sigma just come through again. We could be seeing a couple other comps coming through as well. I've been seeing a rise in the popularity of specifically like the Malga Venture Genji comp, where you just rush in, you're all together, you press your Malga E so everyone has cardiac overdrive, Venture and Genji dive, and everyone simply explodes because of damage over time from Venture, and Genji is just kind of cleaning up the crew. And that was one of my favorite comps to really watch, and how explosive it can be. And it works especially well on something like Midtown, or even if we had seen Eichenwald, that too. But I'm excited to see how we see a little bit of variation in the tank specifically. I know that we've already seen that, excuse me, oh my gosh. We've already seen that Overworked is extremely comfortable swapping tanks if need be. We saw the Diva, we saw the Malga from between round 1 and round 2 of Lijiang Tower. So they have tanks under their belts, and they're okay with having to go whatever they need to kind of shut down Fire Puppies.
Yeah, I was just about to say that myself. King's flexibility on tank is an incalculable asset to have on a team. When you have a role in a game where only one person's on that role, having someone that can flex to so many different looks of that role is great. Overwork, they are playing that Sigma. They're sticking January on the Somber here, which feels to me like a specific choice made to mess with Fire Puppies, to trip Guac up, to annoy Cinex if they go for the fire again, which it looks like they are going for the fire again with a double flex DPS choice here. Zen Kiriko backline is interesting because they know that Akko's not going to be in a lot of danger, really. But if January gets into that backline and starts harassing Akko, then there's not a whole lot that Anna's going to be able to do other than force the Suzu out early.
You're absolutely right. As someone who plays both characters, I've been in those situations, and they've really sucked. Especially with Cinex, who's already putting the barrage on Overworked here, who are trying to get through it. Oh my goodness!
God.
As I said that, Otters is just chilling in the back, destroying Current and January at the same time. The entirety of Overworked is kind of down most of their team here, and suddenly the point is starting to kind of trickle in their hands. The damage over time I was talking about from Venture is such an underrated tool that I feel like teams are starting to kind of realize as the meta develops.
In the wild, otters take stones onto like their stomach while they're floating on the water. This is a true fact, by the way. And they use them as like anvils to crack open seashells to like eat oysters and stuff. So
yeah,
Venture is a perfect match for someone called Otters. And so far, Otters is showing to be very acquainted with the character themselves.
You're absolutely right. I love that you mentioned the otter thing. I love otters so much. They're so silly little creatures, man. Speaking of silliness, otters, I must say, being a little bit silly on the Ventures, kind of putting in the work against Overworked here. But they are set on the high ground. Shoreline Pie is going to be the biggest counter to Cinex on this Pharah, who has really yet to be too contested, put too much pressure on either. January, I want to know where they're going to be going. I would say to go aim for Akko, but Akko is nowhere to be found. We are over there. We are windowing really quickly, and unfortunately, Hana caught in the crossfire of that window. I think the rest of the Fire Puppies has to realize, okay, we got back out. We're going to get hit, and we're going to get shot down like Shoreline Pie just did on Otters. Oh, no. Oh, we're barraging. Oh, my God, I got two.
Cinex does love this the surprise barrage at times. Perhaps Cinex was thinking, all right, let's swap here because it's such an open second point and you're pushing into Shoreline Pie, who's on Cassidy. Actually, no, looking to stick it, so it was just to stabilize that fight so to get back into it, fair enough. Meanwhile, Shoreline Pie is way too far forward, needs the immortality to stay alive.
And Jenny, we're also taking care of Oz at the same time, one of the biggest pains that Over has been dealing with. And now we have 4 ultimates ready, and Baptiste can bring up that window so quickly. Oh man, the hack onto the virus, into the EMP combo on Guac. Didn't even have a chance at surviving that entourage. Even the transcendence from Akko probably wasn't enough to help our boy out there. We're gonna be seeing Otters go in for that tectonic shock and forces the rest of the support to kind of back up, and also forces Overworked to make some space for Fire Puppies. But at the same time, it's still Fire Puppies who are kind of in the deficit right now.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen a DPS ult come out just to like stabilize or regroup, and now the Flux comes in. Transcendence isn't there to save it. Brilliant time Suzu from Hana keeps themselves alive.
Oh, can we get the high noon? Can we get anyone? We get a little bit of damage on Otters there, and the hinder should be enough to lock in that kill. Really great awareness from Shoreline Pie to understand that we are going to be able to get this Deadeye and get rid of Otters at the same time. We're also going to be seeing King and the rest of Overworked kind of back to the high ground, which has been a great position to keep up against Fire Puppies. They have not had a single a single right response against this positioning, and it's just working out so well.
Long distances, which does give advantage to the side Overworked, but there's the mines in the backline to stop the retreat from the barrage.
Oh, barrage just kind of ate everyone up. I fear Synax just kind of ate that. And we saw the minefield get used, the barrage. We saw a Hail Mary window coming in from Silver Tiles, and I've been there, bestie. You want to get rid of fire immediately, I window too. And sometimes we get barrage for it, and that's okay. The cart moves slowly. We have 2.5 minutes left, or just under, for another push from Fire Puppies.
City Rush comes out, rocks immediately. Piranha got sent back to her spawn, with King hitting another great equation. Now, still have that rush though, can be turned around. Is there going to be a beat because the Transcend comes out from the Fire Puppies?
I love that Transcend as well. Shoreline Pie just took out Synax again, but at this time you don't have the Kiriko healing. You only really have Zenyatta healing or Harmony Orb, and that's just not enough. But you know what is enough? The big old melee kick. That is going to be taking King out of the fight, and Shoreline Pie going to be sending Akko right back to the spawn, where Fire Puppies has to reset again. The swap over to Genji off of the bench here, I do want to mention really fast from Otters, may prove to be a really great choice here against the Fire of Overwork.
Yeah, I love it. There's a little bit. You can commit a little bit more burst damage. That's a bit of a disastrous pick, by the way, because January had EMP, so suddenly Fire Puppies have a little bit more to work with, and this Blade could come in a little bit earlier than Overworked wanted to.
I see the High Noon, I see the Flux combo. Does it get what we need? We get, oh, Hannah, poor Hannah. And we get immediately shut down from that Dragon Blade. Beautiful timing of that hack coming in from January. And there we go. You'll be seeing Fire Puppies again in the back of this fight once more. Walk going down, Akko newly swapping over to the mortar from the Zenyatta, still not going to be able to be enough here. And we're going to get also a crazy stagger on Otters. This is not what Fire Puppies needs right now with only a minute left.
Yeah, we're under a minute. EMP's ready from January as well as the window from Silver Tiles. You're thinking, how are we going to push into this? What's Fire Puppies going to have to do? Well, you need a good barrage. And the last time you got a good barrage is when you saw Gwak mine behind Overwork, so there was no retreating from the barrage with the speed. They have both of those ultimates ready. Are they just going to run it back and do that same strategy and hope it works again in the last 30 seconds?
They may as well, and the big hack coming out on Otters once more, just nearly getting out of the skin of their teeth. The minefield is now deactivated by that EMP, but they're still active. King has to be a little bit careful here just for a second. The immortality field does get burned very quickly, and that barrage we talked about earlier is ready for anyone. Might be getting onto Silver Towers, and instead just a regular first primary fire, and then the barrage to make sure Shoreline Pie does not negate their flow whatsoever. Synax and the rest of Fire Puppies kind of just win that fight right as overtime starts tickling down, and we go over to point B.
I have to really question the decision of EMPing at that specific moment. I feel like it was to try and catch Gwak out, but they were on a corner and Gwak rounded the corner and no one was hit by EMP other than the mines, which are only affected momentarily by it. So a big wasted opportunity and an unforced error for Overwork. They are going to be able to get back into this one. They are going to have their Flux, their Beat, their High Noon to create the space that they need in this final, in the second to last fight about here to kind of organize themselves.
And they did not need Kermesser also going down so quickly in that first fight on third objective. And poor Gwak again just getting hacked and being right in the middle of a four-man team was not what we needed on our bingo card tonight. We're also going to be seeing the fact that Puppy is going to be backing up, going around the corner, around the bend, away from this Deadeye that's ready on Shoreline Pie. And King also has that Flux, so I hope we do see that combination come through once more.
Probably will, but Gwak, you just can't go right into the face of a team with a Sombra and a Cassidy. Survives it this time. Blade comes out with the Coalescence. We're backing up, we're keeping it alive, and here's the Flux.
The Flux and me catching a couple of members of the team. Beautiful Suzu again from Hannah to keep Fire Puppies alive during that insane Flux coming in from King. But King is unrelentless and making sure that Synax feels every little bit of that hurt. We see another Suzu come through from Hannah, but it's not going to be enough to last. A little bit too late. The overtime wick is tickling down, and Synax unable to use that barrage in the heat of the moment. We are at 2 points, just narrowly away from point 3.
Yeah, there's just that unfortunate ability of Overwork to have more flexibility in what they're wanting to play. Fire Puppies, looks like Gwak really wants to keep on the Wrecking Ball right now, but when you're on a Wrecking Ball against, there's an accretion, hinder, hack, you cannot just bulldoze into the team for a pile drive with no follow-up or plan B. Now, Hannah has been hitting some incredible Suzus that have saved from 2 Fluxes now I've seen, and other follow-up that would have gone elimination. So Hannah is doing her best with her role, but there's only so much that the supports can do to nullify all the CC that Overworked have on their side. Fire Puppies seem to be sticking with pretty much the same deal. Now they're going for an Ana Brig backline, who are going to be able to keep safe from any January attacks, but January's been sticking with the team, not been going for that flanking style of Sombra. So I feel like this might be a bit of a missed opportunity. You can put the packs onto Synex and keep them alive in that moment, but other than that, this might be a bit of a bad call. They might be expecting Overwork to be swapping onto more of a dive, which they're not doing at the moment. So Fire Puppies, they might need to reassess if they lose this first point, what they want their backline to look like. Oh, what is Carmaster and Silvertails doing?
Oh, they're just a little bit silly back there. That's okay. I like that we are seeing the Ana Brig a little bit different than a different situation than we usually see. We usually see with the Winston dive. I also love autos on the Ash. Getting that burn on Shoreline Pie is huge. Me forcing them to kind of retreat a little bit and retrace our steps. And in the meantime, January going down, but we take a DPS trade with Synex. So still pretty even for Overworked and Fire Puppies to continue this point as we see Overworked kind of just run around the point and go right behind Fire Puppy's back. Gonna be seeing already 1.5 ticks on the board. The Accretion narrowly missing, hitting the fire truck rather than the tank, but we are seeing a lot of pressure on Hannah, who just can't keep it up, and neither really can Otters, where you saw how quick King just shooted off a little bit of support that Alka was able to give just for a second, and this stagger is insane.
Yeah, Overworked are not wanting to lose. You have a player on the team, Shoreline Pie, who was the runner-up. Silvertails, King, Shore, and Silvertails were all BPL 5 runners-up. And they don't want to be the runners-up anymore. They're done being the bridesmaid. Now they want to be the bride, and they're playing like it.
Love that analogy you used there, and you're absolutely right. You're seeing Guac finally switch over to a Winston composition, a little more in harmony with that, with Akko and Hannah there, who has swapped off that Brig. So Akko a little bit by the lonesome. You gotta be really careful about January on that Sombra. Guac is chilling out a little bit on this corner as Shoreline Pie just gets rid of Otters in the backside. Also me seeing that Deadeye be popped immediately, and it takes care of Guac before we could jump away to safety. Hannah also falling victim to the King power, and this payload is running by smoothly by Silvertails, just chilling with the BAP.
Yeah, Guac going onto the Winston means you are a little bit more committal when you're going for those hard dives, so you have to be very careful when you're doing that. You really don't want to be committing too hard into this, because you only have your Tracer to boot, and you can maybe catch someone off guard if they're out of position. And it does help now that January is on Farah though, who immediately goes down.
Oh, but man, that Nano was slightly wasted as Guac got pulled up into the flux and sent back to spawn. Big grass coming in from King, who is able to see the bomb get pushed away by Kernmaster after popping that sound barrier. And that was just a really cleanly fought team fight done so quickly at the same time. And we're pushing up, putting all the pressure on Guac at the same time.
5 minutes in the time bank to not even need to fully finish this third point. Corvalis donated again of $20, and yeah, you can see Winston's here, but I'm afraid to tell you, Corvalis, it ain't working for Fire Puppies.
Oh no, this is Winston. I see it's popping the head by Shoreline Pie as in the middle of their blink to safety. Shoreline Pie on this Cassidy has been a demon to deal with for Overworked, and it's only gonna continue. Now Otto's going onto the Hanzo. The storm arrows are coming through, but thankfully no one gets their head blown off by it quite yet. The pressure is all up on Guac, who again falls victim to the melee from Shoreline Pie, and without a tank to help you out, without that bubble shield, Shoreline Pie is able to just really put in the hurt on the rest of Fire Puppies. Guac and Akko, the only ones really left right now, as they wait for us as a team to regroup and respawn.
Yeah, and they'll be pushing into a High Noon, a Barrage, Flux eventually, and a Window. Guac's doing their best with this Primal Rage, but at this point, it's inevitable. You're in Helm's Deep, the corner's right behind you. You feel the heat, and you need to do some absolute magic of your Fire Puppies to keep this alive. You have a Nano engaged, they're onto your Monkey, you have a Pulse Bomb. If you can land it, there's ways to extend this time.
I do see January kind of itching to go for a random barrage, and we see it, but it doesn't get anyone of sustenance. We're going to be seeing the Silvertails is kind of keeping everyone alive there with that immortality field, but not for very long, as Otters gets not one, not two, but 3 people at the same time. This Hanzo is kind of popping off all in the back, while Shoreline Pie is just running for their lives, trying to regroup, as we are seeing a swap over back to the Venture.
Yeah, they might have found the good mixture here. Otters has been doing really well in this Hanzo because even with the Lucio, you're still needing to push into that Storm Arrows, a lot of spam damage, going to break your shield down, going to break your health down. And January again, almost caught out. You've got to be careful with positioning up there.
With Snakes is right on it, but there's another Flux and a Deadeye, and he's completely shielded through by the bubble from the Winston, but Guag is really careful not to peek their little head out. Thankfully they did it, but then again, Otter's just kind of putting everyone in their place here on Overword, as they're unable to really continue the pressure. We take a little bit of trade there. Hannah goes down and January goes down. So Firebaby's gonna be down Hannah for a little bit, who has that Kasumi Rush ready at any time. And Overwork are coming up on really just that sound barrier. And January now newly swapped to the Genji. That's a new DPS ultimate to deal with.
Yeah, January's kind of struggling to find themselves here on this point, but now the whole team swapping over means they can keep the sound barrier with a whole new look. You want to dive, claps on to Otters, force them off those angles, don't let them do what they want, but again, it's going to be right into a Kitsune Rush.
Oh, Curvatus, I know you're happy now. We have a double Winston dive happening here, and Hannah kind of losing themselves in the ruckus of it all, as Guak is putting the pressure on Overwork's backline, especially Kermaster, who gets primaled for their efforts. Silvertail is now going over to the Kiriko as well to match Hannah here, has now come over to the Moira, and we're still putting all this pressure on poor Silvertail. This primal is putting in the work. Fire Puppies are still active in this fight and still taking lives.
Wow. Guak is playing out of their goddamn mind right now. Went absolutely primal bestial on them. They went from 5 minutes in a time bank to just about 90 seconds. Overworked have been overworked right now. There's still this nano coming up. Pulse Bomb. Dragon to force them off point. They need to build up their own rush if they want to win in this next fight. Do Overworked.
Oh my god, this fight has to be either really quick or really slow. They have to make this fight last forever, and there it is. That's another nano on Guak, and Guak is won as King in January start bringing it back. No tanks on either side, but Overworked are up by 1, and with Hannah without a fade to get out of there, it looks like the cart might be... Oh my god, there's no touch.
Yeah.
Overworked takes it.
Damn, well, I tell you what, Fire Puppies made the mark for it in that final hurdle. But yeah, Overworked started to maybe get into their own mind a little bit. There was a barrage to open the fight, and if you open a fight with a barrage, the enemies have all of their resources, and you're sitting still. So it's not going to work. But Overworked, they're able to overcome that kind of curb that they started to trip up on for a point. That curb, you could definitely call that curb Otters, who got the play of the game with the Hanzo deservedly, because once that Hanzo came out, the spam had to be forced off of. So perhaps, in yes, another map loss, have they found that little special something that could play into Overworked and actually start what will now need to be a grand finals reverse sweep. So that's something that they have to keep in mind. And something else I have to say is we got another donation there for $50 from Moon Bunny for the pigeons. I mean, mostly for the children, but also the virtual pigeons. Okay, fair enough. I get it. And Corvatis with another $10 for, yes, more monkey. So shout out to the teams playing monkey. Seems to be getting the charity more money, and that's us over 1,800 now, which is another incredible point to be at.
Absolutely. It's so good to see that happen. And again, the fact that it's mind-boggling that we had just gotten to 1,000 while we were streaming together, commentating, and then today, not even 24 hours later, we are 800 above our original goal. I mean, I literally can't. My mind is exploding with that. So, everyone's donations it's so amazing. And again, it's going towards a really good cause, a really good charity that's helping everyone going through what's happening in Gaza right now, in Palestine right now. So every little bit helps, especially now that you can still get a couple of Poofa stickers, the vinyl stickers. I think there are 4 left, so if you're one lucky 4 that got one, I'm very happy for you. But listen, I did my little donation. I want a little sticker, a little something.
Yeah, I was thinking about a sticker, but I put my name in for the raffles because, like I said yesterday, I could do it for a little bit of getting good. So yeah, a little bit of coaching could probably help me out actually. But it's Fire Puppies who will be coaching themselves they'll be looking back and thinking, okay, what do we need to do now? Because it's do or die time. And unfortunately for them, Flashpoint, not the spice of variety as a mode goes. You have two maps. You have the one that's a little bit flatter and more a little bit brawl centric, and then you have Junkertown. Sorry, I messed up there. Junkertown's a little bit more brawl centric and a little bit more high ground. Servasa has a little bit more longer sight lines and could play into what either your own Hanzo, you could think, or the opposing enemy's spam Sigma compositions. Unfortunately, it's a very difficult decision to make in terms of the map choice, but in terms of that winning formula, I think it's time to admit that the Wrecking Ball isn't working unless you, I don't know, put autos on Hanzo with the Wrecking Ball, and maybe we see a pile drive followed up by a Hanzo headshot, and then suddenly we get things rolling, literally. Maybe, I don't know, but right now it's Overworked that are in the driving seat.
You're absolutely right, and I agree. I really do hope that they kind of found something clicked, definitely, with that last night. Even though they did, I'm sorry, Fire Puppies. Fire Puppies, like they something clicked. You know, going for the Winston composition, going for the Winston defense was so imperative. And although they did just narrowly lose by a small margin on Midtown, it's still so doable, especially if we go on something like Servasa. I feel like New Junk City, it may work again if they both go for that Malga brawl. And a quick shout out to the pigeons coming up for the $50, of course, as a quick reminder. We love the virtual pigeons around here on Midtown, on Gay Midtown. May I say hi, Pride Month. At the same time, however, going back to these ones are dating. That's okay. They're together. They're a couple.
Where's their feet? Am I crazy?
No,
Are
okay,
their feet
okay.
just not there?
They may be clipping into the floor, but some pigeons actually do not have feet around here. I see them all the time. So I'm gonna pretend they're both veterans from the war. Don't know which war, but they're veterans from the war. Think of your service pigeons.
That reminds me of an old animated film, which I cannot actually.
Oh my god!
They actually have feet. They do have
They
feet.
have
It's under
feet,
the concrete.
yes!
Let's
Yeah!
go.
Oh my god, they're so
Pigeon
cute. I can't.
feet.
With the little
Oh,
flies
well.
around them, I'm gonna cry.
The things I say in BPL. Good God. No, yeah, it reminds me of like an old animated film where it's like I think it's like World War II, but it's like birds, and they're like birds, and it's like I don't know. I can't remember its name, so I'm gonna go crazy trying to think of it. But it's in my mind now, and I'm gonna have to Google it after.
Of it. However, where he's floating. I definitely believe that there definitely has to be something out there about birds during World War II. Animated film. We'll find out at some point. Someone in chat probably knows what it is. Like everyone in chat knows everything. It's beautiful. But real fast again, we're going.
It's called Valiant.
Valiant.
Yes, it's called Valiant. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, Ewan McGregor's in it actually. I know I'm really yapping right now, but okay. Right. Okay.
No, go on. I love yapping. Please, that's our job. Our job is to yap. We're waiting our teams to start up on Flashpoint, and I don't like Flashpoint. It's okay. It's an okay mode. I think really it just needs more maps, and I'm very excited whenever they do add more maps to Flashpoint because the same two for like 3-4 months now is very draining on my soul.
I'm a sicko. I'm a Flashpoint enjoyer.
Oh,
but
no.
yes, I absolutely agree. Having two maps for a mode is insane, and the fact that Clash, I think, is releasing of two maps as well, is a bit mad. At least Push is getting another map, so there's going to be a little bit more spice of life when we get there. I believe it's Yari's.
Yes,
home.
I think it's
Yeah.
Peru. I believe is where she's from. I want to say.
I think so. I think you're right.
I am super excited to see like a new Push map. I actually am a Push enjoyer. And no one else is apparently. So like I love Push. I don't mind Coliseo. I don't mind.
You don't mind Coliseo? Okay, that's.
I don't mind Coliseo, but like
that's sadistic.
I didn't mind it until people mentioned the glasses and the glass panels in the very beginning, and I'm like, you know what? Those can go. I'm okay with those leaving, and we are leaving Coliseo, the beautiful land, and going over to Servasa. I'm seeing our map of choice, and quite frankly, like you were talking about, I do kind of agree with Servasa over New Junk City, especially if Fire Puppies want a chance at a reverse sweep.
Well, have they hedged their bets correctly? They need to have, because it's only a first free. It all comes down to this. Is this going to be Overworld getting a 3-0 victory in the Grand Finals and cementing themselves, or do we see Fire Puppies start to strike out with something just absolutely unpredictable, because it looks like they might just do it? And yes, there are more pigeons on Servasa. Overworld, though, nah. I'll believe it when they leave spawn with it, but for now I'm not going to go with it. I think King's going to swap onto Mauga. But with Fire Puppies, this seems like an absolute Hail Mary choice to go for a Reinhardt in this day and age, when you feel like, surely you know that the Mauga's coming. You can hold your shield against the Mauga and hope your Reaper can kill them in time, but still, this is a bit of a risk here, but you know what, as a Ryan enjoyer, I hope it works for them.
I'm also a very big Brian combo enjoyer, especially when that Suzu gets burned almost immediately, but we clip ourselves on the corner, not able to get really any big damage on that pin at all. January, however, kind of caught out of the fight, and the Otters as well, following them right down back to the spawn room. Synex is still going to be fighting even though Guak and Akko do go down. And I also want to mention, I love that Hana and Akko have been very comfortable flip-flopping between main support and flex support, respectively.
Yeah, true. It does give that extra help. Now, in terms of how you want to play this composition into a Mauga, you want to be waiting for them to use their cardiac overdrive and then backing up, chilling for a bit and coming back into it. The cardiac overdrive is basically the win button for overworked. Force that out and rotate around, then you'll have something done. Oh, what, the nade? No, not like that.
The nade is just such a big factor here. Oh, we are pausing. Oh no, Hannah! Hannah, come back! No! We're going to be seeing a very quick pause as one of our players will be coming back very momentarily, and
Is that
a
Mr.
little bit
Beast?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that, and then you were talking about like the fact that the logo was on Overworks logo, and I was like, oh my god, it is. And then I saw Mr. Beast, and I forgot to mention it, but yes, Mr. Beast is there for the Quiero puppy.
Who let these teams cook? Who let these teams open a paint editor? I mean, Overclocked have upgraded their stuff, but like still, Solomon added to Mr. Beast.
There's other teams with amazing logos. Like there's one with the wolf that has the antlers, and it's like, damn. Like, is there someone that has that as their logo? It's great. It's just like, we are very unserious. This is a charity event, of course. We are giving money over to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, and it is a great cause. So want to be a little bit silly with your icons. Want to be a little bit silly as a team, and get some money going as well. Again, we are less than $200 away from our stretch goal, which be really cool and sexy if you guys like donated a little bit to get us to that goal. It'd be really, really cool. Really cool.
20 people donating $10. $10 has a lunch these days costs $10 depending where you go. Mr. Beast is gone, by the way. Maybe they had the Jimmy debuff. Not that I'm saying that Mr. Beef would be Mr. Beef. Wow, that's a different person. Mr. Beast is a debuff, but perhaps Mr. Beef, who's a new character I've invented, is behind Fire Puppies and will give them that help. Now, we did see Hannah DC. If Hannah goes Moira, we'll still have their ult charge, so the code protects that. So there is that. I think though Fire Puppies are going to have a tough time in this fight. They've already lost Synex, which is a big a source of damage in this brawl for their composition.
Oh, thankfully Hannah also, like you said, co-protects their positions. They're right back into the fray. Guak is already really low health, and against his Mauga, the burning, the shield pressure, it's just a little bit too much for Guak to handle in the moment. Shoreline Pie also is absolutely no help to Fire Puppies, as they're just getting beautiful picks here and there with the Hinder, with their really good aim, and then King just kind of take care of Akko at the same time. And we dead-eyed for Hannah. I fear. You got it. You got it.
And Monsters is getting cleaned up also. It's unfortunate because when that shield breaks down, King just looks to Guac and molies them. Because there's not much to be done once that shield goes down. And you have the Fan the Hammer breaking it. You've got the spam coming in from January now as well, which is going to be a lot of just upfront damage. Remember, the impact damage of Farah got buffed with the armor changes, so they're even better against the likes of Reinhardt. So poor Guac's going to have the hardest time here trying to get anything done.
And Otters as well, with the Titanic shot coming through, not getting too many picks here, but getting a good amount of damage, at least on King, who has now gone immediately back to full health. One last little pause, just real fast, and that's A-okay. I mean, it's still anyone's game. The objective has yet to be unlocked, but Overworked is dominant on that position. They want that objective first, and they're going to do anything they can to take it. I didn't see the ultimates that they had lined up. I want to say that that Fire Puppies has a couple of ultimates lined up that should be able to help them take the fight, ideally, so they can get a point on the board.
It's going to be tough though, because I think both support ults are ready on the other side for Overworked, so it's going to be a little bit tough. It's a gear issue pause that we're doing, which is a good time to remind folks that this is all... Everything about this has all been to help the PCRF, who are a decades-old charity that have been helping children around the Lamont, but specifically in Palestine and of course in Gaza. I mentioned that they tweeted recently about helping children who, in the chaos of what's happening, have lost their hearing aids and obviously have hearing issues when without their hearing aids and are able to hear. But they've been able to have an effort to get these hearing aids to the children that need them. So that's just one small thing that this charity has done, and there's so many different small things that add up to the totality of the good output that this charity has to the humanitarian crisis that's going on there in Gaza and Palestine.
Absolutely. So again, we are so close. A little bit does go a long way for these children, for the people over there that are experiencing literally a historic event, happening before our very eyes, and they're literally living it. So anything really does help, especially children who are losing their. It's the small things you don't really think about: people's hearing, people's glasses, socks, things like that. It's just small things that you would never think about in these kind of situations. So please, please, please help the PCRF in their effort to make people's lives a little bit easier during this time of need. In the meantime, we're still gonna be seeing a little bit of a gear issue, a little bit of technical issues, and I've been there. One time I was in bracket and my headphones, these ones just died, and my comms gone, my voice lines gone, everything was gone. It was complete silence, and I saw a bunch of things going on, and I forgot to ask for a pause, so I'm glad they did, but I was just locked in complete and utter silence. So it sucks, any kind of gear difficulty, your mouse disconnects, your keyboard explodes, it sucks. But no keyboards exploding, mices are connected and ready, headphones are charged. We're going right back into the fray, going right in. We're gonna be seeing a continuing rush and the sound barrier coming in from Overworked. A double support ultimate, quadruple even from both sides here, and the cage fight is gonna definitely be securing the W for Overworked in order to take this point in favor for themselves. Poor Synex couldn't even put up a fight there. Hannah getting a very late kill on Silvertails off of the Biotic Ore, but that's really all we have going for them on Fire Puppies. Now seeing Synex swap over to the Pharah, so two Pharahs now, very interesting to see.
Yes, Zenith versus January, a historic battle in the air, but Otters is also in the air, so they've got that double aerial to try and just spam out January, and it works. Quack takes them out. Going back onto their bread and butter composition, is this what Fire Puppies need to get some energy back?
It's so interesting to see as well the complete dominance now they suddenly have in the air with Synex and Otters on the far end Echo. And Otters is just popping off. It's almost like kind of when they swapped over to Hanzo and they started getting all these triple kills. I mean, it's just working just like that for Echo. And it's really all up to Shoreline Pie originally to get both these down. Now January making a very late swap over to the Sombra instead of being on the far Ditto. And Guacan just hanging around. I see you, bestie. You're just chilling.
Looking for those pile drives. Trying to get those pile drives where you can't get hacked is going to be the good call. I mean, look at the spam already coming on to King. With that Discord, all forces Suzu already. This Zen is really going to help in bursting down these targets with the Pharah and the Echo.
Oh, and you saw how great the positioning was for Synax, slightly behind that awning, and the Shoreline Pie just could not get rid of Synax during that Pharah ult. But Shoreline Pie able to get the Deadeye going and does not miss on Synax that time. But at the same time, Otters is right there to defend their teammate and make sure that Shoreline Pie goes down for the count. We only have continuing rush rate for Silver Tiles, and this point is looking like it's Fire Puppies finally. So we're seeing a complete comp swap. This is full dive we're running with a Tracer and Winston to boot.
Now Akko becomes the squishy target that there ever has been, because there is only so much a Kiriko can do for Zen that's getting dove by a Winston and a Tracer and a Lucio and a Sombra. You've got one Suzu and that's it, and then they're dead. But coming into this one, they are going to have their minds split up. Both Kitsune rushes will be available as Akko slowly gets to that Transcendence in the arms race with January's EMP.
Oh, that was a really good boot coming in from Synax against King on the Winston. And Synax is still going in and just kind of putting a lot of tear on the King at the same time. But in the back end, Overworked has kind of taken care of the rest of the team without their tank really available to them. Walk getting hacked, getting virus, I believe, as well. We did bring out the minefield, but it's all for naught as Overworked bring this objective to their favor. Starting to count down the percentages.
Interestingly enough, King swapped to... Okay, never mind. A little bit of the old tank rock, paper, scissors there as both eventually decide to go monkey. There's 2 monkeys now. I'm expecting 2 donations. So Suzu, sorry, Kiriko Rush is ready, but it's the EMP from January that has to be the main concern. Akko needs to transcend for it.
Beautiful timing on that jump in, also with that sound barrier in order to counteract Hannah's Kitsune Rush. Also be seeing Akko burn out that Transcendence, meaning that the sustainability on Fire Puppies is almost like impossible to really deal with for Overworked. 3 of them do go down. Hannah's the only one on Fire Puppies who kind of falters in that team fight, but that's a-okay. Shoreline Pie also getting kind of scoped out in the situation, and Fire Puppies flips the point in their favor. The red now bleeding a little bit. Overworked still having the pulse, has the EMP. How would they use it?
Yeah, well, now there's no Transcendence, there's no nothing to stop it, so it's going to be pretty free. All you have to do is make sure that you get targets in it, which they do.
Yeah, you get Otters, which is really good. I mean, Otters just came up on that pulse at the same time, and for 1 ultimate, you get 3 easy picks here. Even better, the point has now flipped so quickly back in your favor. Yes, January may have died at the very end, but Akko also going right back to the spawn room and getting a really late spawn time as well. Gonna be seeing the timer tick towards that 99%, a little faster than necessary. We have to touch now or never with just Pulse and Deadeye ready for Fire Puppies.
Yes, this could take us to map and match point respectively if Overworked are able to win it out. They're slowly getting towards this Kitsune Rush, but the high note from Synax, which could be brought out. Meanwhile, it's just the Primal Rage alone that Quack is using.
And Otters keeping Shoreline Pie in check, staying right at the spawn, and Kernmaster just kind of getting stuck on that awkward part of the foundation that kind of juts out. Was not expecting that to be there likely, and that's okay. Still gonna be seeing a last, maybe 1 or 2 pushes coming in from Overworked here as the timer ticks over past 50%. And we still have that Deadeye, we still have that Pulse Bomb, so that's huge for Overworked, which now has Silver Tiles here with Kitsune Rush. And no King for that Primal, getting a very quick frontline push there for Fire Puppies. And then January falling after. Wait, Synax, chill. Chill. They gotta play the game.
Yeah, this is exactly what you need to do. Just pack them into spawn. There might be a touch there from Shoreline on the side, which they do have to be concerned about. But the high nine, the high nine, I guess, like a C9. But actually find Silver Tiles. Kings doing their best with Primals. Can they turn it around?
Wait, this is actually kind of working. The Primal pushing out the rest of the team of Fire Puppies for a second there, but King getting a little bit overrun. But Fire Puppies is still on the advantage state here, as for the first time in this series, we have seen the point be in the favor of Fire Puppies for once. Now they're the ones who are on match point, on flash point, and could be getting the start of the reverse 3-0.
Corvatis with yet another donation, $20. I love you, King and Guac, they say, as we see the Winstons come. It looks like it's $10 per Winston pick, which I love. Now, though, Fire Puppies, if they're able to take this one, which they've got the tools to do so, both Coalescence and Kitsune Rush are really strong support in their own right and getting a good push and creating a lot of space on point. However, the overworked support line are there, so it's the EMP from January that you have to be aware of that's coming on and ready.
Oh, could have been a really big pulse bomb, but kind of got a little bit mixed up in the things of in the excursion of things. The coalition from Akko gonna be coming through, and a big EMP coming in as well from January. Gonna be shutting down Fire Puppies in their assault. The point is all up just to really Cinex to contest as long as possible, but it's not gonna be enough. Otter's also gonna be falling victim. We're seeing another swap here again. Shoreline Pie, I just realized, going over to the Tracer rather than the Cassie. I'm sorry for saying that so late. And now January going back to that Genji. We have seen them kind of tease a little bit last map.
Guac has Primal Rage. Now that is deadly in Guac's hand. We've seen Guac do a lot with it, so they are going to go in very aggressive based off the fact that they can get something with it.
They continue rushing even bigger. Primal ready on the back end for Guac. Now, lots of pressure here. Thankfully, able to come right back in the fight and get rid of Kermash at the same time. A lot of everyone on over is super low here. It forces out King's Primal to maybe get something started. And Guac, living literally just with 50 HP to spare, is able to just reel it right back to that objective and have the objective in question roll back for Fire Puppies. They have a Primal. They're coming up on Coalescence. They're coming up on the DPS Ultimate. Overworked have nothing. Nothing, Gio.
Yeah, which is going to be hard for them. January continues to play Mystery Heroes now on Pharah, looking to just spam out from afar, and Cinex is going to get a lot done on the Reaper now against that pick, so that's going to be something that Cinex has been very well aware of. They were able to hold on to Primal Rage though, so they can win this fight off of that alone as they're already doing it.
They're already doing it very beautiful, like you just said. Silvertail is going to be falling victim first to Primal, but Kermaster falling afterwards. We're going just for supports here on this Primal. And now just a big old dive, trickling back, goes supports first, then DPS. King does live at the very end of the day, but that was a beautiful team play from Fire Puppies, and they're only 20% from winning Flashpoint.
It's going to be a panic touch. They need to get there if they want to keep it alive. Blossom's ready. Already takes Silver Towels. Our Fire Puppies going to start their journey to their first sweep.
Oh, we get the last minute touch. Cinex is still ready with that Death Blossom, and at that point, it's all up to January. And when you're all by yourself as a Pharah, you cannot do anything about it. And we get a last second touch, but the Death Blossom is ready to negate it. That is a W on the board for Fire Puppies. And like I said, this could be the start of a reverse sweep for them. Going and winning on Flashpoint is so good.
Yeah, and King gets the play of the game with the big old miniguns, but it's the other tank, it's Quack I want to talk about. Keep them on Winston. I mean, I'm not saying it for the donations, I'm just saying it because watching them play Winston, they're so patient with their usage of the jump. They're so knowledgeable, or at least just mechanically good with their Primal Rage. That Primal goes from like a tempo ult or just keeping yourself alive to something you can actually rely on to be an aggressive tool that you get eliminations with, because Guac is finding those corners to just bully people into and get those combos where you can hit, jump, hit again, and just land with the jump onto them to get that burst damage. So I'm liking what Fire Puppies are coming out with. Also, keep Otters on Tracer. That was working brilliantly in tandem with Guac's Winston. That dichotomy was giving a lot of issue to Overworked, who you saw January kind of not really knowing what she wanted to play because she was finding a lot of pressure on Pharah, on Genji, and on the other picks that we saw from them. So I think Overworked are now on the back seat. That momentum shift is more than just a map going over. It's Fire Puppies finding just that small little niche change that's going to help them forward. But if they've identified it correctly, they can keep this going and they can continue this journey onto a potential reverse sweep.
And I am here for it regardless. And again, they have to do it again on push and of course escort. So for push map, could be seeing a choice of either Coliseo, New Queen Street, or Esperanza. Personally, I mean, I feel like both teams would kind of benefit from the openness that Esperanza does give. The dive has been working so well.
What?
We hit our goal. Whoa!
just hit our goal.
Wait.
Jarvis,
Jarvissimo.
whoa! With
Jarvissimo, mi amor.
$174, we have hit
Jarvissimo.
one of our extended goals of $2,000, meaning we can officially say that the initial goal that this tournament had at the start of this weekend, we just hit double it. We just doubled it. We're at $2,000. An incredible act of kindness. Thank you so much for that generosity, and everyone else that's gotten us to this point. I'm beyond myself. I'm running out of words to describe how much love I've witnessed from this community to the charity of the PCRF.
I literally was speechless when Fraud just went, "Hey, we just reached our goal." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What goal? What do you mean we reached our goal?" We were $150 at least away from it. So again, big shout out to Jarvissimo for bringing us to our goal, and shout out to everyone else for helping us reach that 2,000. Even the 1,000 was just so amazing to see. And can we do more? Can we just say, can we do 3? Let me stop. 3,000 30 minutes, guys. Come on, 30 minutes to 3,000. Come on. No, in all seriousness, this is so amazing, and I am getting a little bit emotional. So I need to lock back in, and we're going to Coliseo. Oh my goodness.
I've just seen a screenshot as well from the team chat, the match chat. Senex saying, "Can we redeem the Spilo coaching right now? We need help counter picking." I think
That's hilarious.
Senex is looking for some of that coaching as overworked. Choose to go to Coliseo, and if I'm thinking why, I'm thinking, well, we're probably going to see King. You know, it works for both the Moogle comps and the Sigma comps, playing into that narrow corridor of Coliseo. Either one of them can work. Looks like they're leaning towards the Sigma. You can get a lot of spam down that and a lot of angle pressure, which of course is what the comp is all about. Now though, Fire Puppies, they don't have a comp up their sleeve, which is like a hard bulldoze comp that can push right through a choke like that, especially into spam. So I like the choice of keeping the Winston. Senex on the Pharah with Otters on the Tracer is a good combination of DPS that can follow up, take angles, and then go for a coordinated dive onto someone like Servertals, who only has the boop of Currentmaster to keep himself alive, and then it's the Immortality Field being forced, which of course is a big ability to take out of the play.
Oh my god, I'm still very high for emotions right now, but thankfully we're going over to Coliseo, and there are those big last things I talked about earlier in the stream today. King on the Sigma can be putting a lot of pressure on this front line, and Gua kind of forced to wait out and get into position for a coordinated dive, likely on Hana or Akko, either one to force out really good cooldowns. Big accretion onto Gua, however, who's now won and now gone. Down for the count almost immediately. Yes, we did use the Immortality Field a little bit early there for King, but we're still seeing a good amount of picks here, especially with Otters falling down mostly right after the fact. And of course, next dropping down for a second, couldn't grab himself up out of that situation right in time.
Yeah, that's hard.
Oh my goodness.
That's that hard punching power of this composition I was talking about. The Fire Puppies were going to struggle with in that hard corridor. Now that things begin to open up on this next point, Fire Puppies can take control of this high ground and utilize it to very easily get onto those backline characters like Servertals and Shoreline Pie and start to dive. Not that Cassidy's like the biggest dive target, but it's still someone who's a little less mobile that you can force out with a bubble or the like.
Absolutely, and we've seen the double flyers come through once more for Fire Puppies. And the Shoreline Pie, it's all up to them on the hit scan to get rid of these flyers. The window does get used by Servertals, and there is no one to see. Everyone is making sure we do not peek that window, and we also see a sudden barrage coming through from Synax. Does take one, gets rid of the Shoreline Pie at the same time. King fluxing as a reaction, but like you said, a little bit of a late beat here coming from Kernmaster. Might be already a done deal fight here for Overworked.
Well, it is staggering to point out a little bit. Well, generally staggering himself out. It does mean the rest of the team can get together and at least put up some pressure before this next fight takes place. And with not too much pushed for Overworked, this is a good place for Fire Puppies, especially they have both their support ults, where Overwork don't have any of theirs. They're kind of hoping that January can get a good tectonic shock, or you can create a lot of space of this high noon. Either way, Fire Puppies should really be taking this next fight with the amount of support ultimates that they're going to be able to bring.
Especially when King is already down for the count level, literally a hair too late. And this team fight should be won with the expertise of Guac, another $10 donation just for the fact that we're playing Monkey on Coliseo. Forces Overworld to kind of back up, and now instead of seeing King swap over to the Monkey, we're gonna be seeing the Diva instead as a counter dive, or as a counter to the dive going on there from Fire Puppies. We see Generator coming in real aggressive, and I see that Tectonic Shock should be coming through, but no, instead we're seeing Akko utilizing that Coalescence, keeping the team up to a lot of damage here, and the duplicate from Otters is possibly really important here on this with the Venture Dupe. Oh, big pressure in this little corner. What do? There is the Echo Dupe ultimate. Just it be your own character sometimes.
God damn, Otters is such a good DPS. Matching Otters and Senex together is a dangerous combination, and now officially Fire Puppies are in the lead on this map. Still a lot of time to play for, but again, it's Fire Puppies forcing Overwork to flex, and they have that flex. They have these back pocket picks, but it's still going to be difficult. You need Kernmaster to get the sound barrier nice and ready to counteract this upcoming Kitsune Rush, but what's in your backline?
In your backline, getting rid of Silver Tiles at the same time, and we also are finally able to get to that checkpoint. Yes, it takes a little while for the best catch to actually happen, but at the same time, the rest of Fire Puppies is still falling over a little bit here. I'm sorry, that Overworld is falling over a little bit here as the fire for Fire Puppies is really rampaging and bringing it up to speed. The bot is turning the corner. We're at 80 meters and so close to the finish line.
And we're in that fight with just Primal Rage and Nog. Kitsune Rush is just so much space for them to push now. They can utilize it now. It is going to get the sound barrier to boot, but you're very close to your own Coalescence and your Barrage, so you've still got tools to turn us around if you want to.
Returning around indeed, January can be taking care of Otters with the stickies of their own Echo here, and a really big stick on Akko, shutting down that Coalescence is humongous. Furline Pie on the Tracer is such a great pick, and I'm glad that we're back over to the this Diva Tracer and Echo comp that we're seeing right now. Silver Tiles and King having ultimates ready. January ranking up that dupe real quickly. We're gonna be seeing a really good fight in this middle.
Yeah, it's going to be the Kitsune Rush that can definitely win it for Overworked. Obviously, they don't want to do it with the Kitsune Rush. They'd like to do it in the neutral game with this kind of more pokey, slow kind of dive, if you want to call it that, than Fire Puppies. But it looks like the push from this point, they are going to have to utilize this Kitsune Rush right into Barrage.
There's Subtiles going in for that Kitsune Rush. Big Suzu being utilized, and now we have double duplicated into 4 tanks. Oh my goodness. We're in Overwatch 7 right now. 4 tanks on the board here. A complete DMAC on the Otters is Diva. Big, but there's already King coming in with that self-destruct, and we only shutting down Otters duplication as King falls down as the baby Diva. Now it's really all up to the rest of Overworld to maybe bring it back, but Guac is back over here. January getting some excellent picks here on Snax and Akko, and trying to get that honing beam onto Shoreline Pie, but just not gonna be enough. We see the Primal also be used aggressively on January. Does he get anyone? Doesn't really, just sends Guac in a really awkward position.
Yeah, Guac's gonna be able to get up, which is great. Oh, huge! Amazing pulse bomb. Noticing that I think the TP came in to try and save Guac. The Guac went out. A miscoordinated attempt there, and suddenly Overworked are going to be able to get some movement, and they're threatening to get their own forward spawn. They've got the sound barrier to secure it. They are going to get it. Will they get the lead now? Next fight's going to contest it. You can build this Kitsune Rush. Oh no! Hannah went Brig. That might be a bit of a mistake. That was pretty much your only way of winning this next fight. Now you're relying on your neutral game.
And the neutral game has been so even between these two teams that you can't rely on that entirely. Hannah going into the brig, very interesting choice, but Walk has to restabilize on the high ground and misses the bridge. Oh no! You thought you were taking for a little bit there, but thankfully, I mean, Snakes able to take care of January. We see the sound barrier also come through, and that is not what Fire Puppies needed in that moment. Suddenly, Overwatch is just kind of on them like white on rice. And Kitsune Rush also gets utilized. The Diva Bomb is also ready in the back end in case of anything. And I feel like maybe seeing it be utilized so soon here. Lots of pressure. Yo, I don't know how Diva players play Diva. I just saw a lot of walls and no direction. I'm confused. We've seen Citrus also go down so quickly, as well as Shoreline Pie. So Overwatch right at that checkpoint, and they might lose it almost immediately. King also had that bomb. Do we use it? No. Gonna be saving it for next fight.
Well, that was a risky choice to swap off of that Kiriko, but by a mere fraction you did actually win that out. You're able to stay in the fight long enough to get the coalescence. So you could say that that is something with that aura healing that the Brig gives you did help. Overworked though, they've got 2 minutes to try and get this one, and again, they've got more than 2 tanks on the board. 66ers are getting happy.
Oh, we should have a Deadeye with that pulse bomb. Good job on Shoreline Pie for that awareness. And now Fire Puppies kind of in a deficit in terms of numbers on the team, especially when there is a rampaging, duplicated Echo on top of you. Otters on the back end, however, is just making sure that there's no support for Overworked. So they have to play a little more carefully here in order to not get any big staggers. Now with Synax also putting a lot of pressure on January, they're just down almost immediately after Guac's Primal as a back end. Nice save coming in from Guac all around and Fire Puppies in general.
Now the time becomes an issue. You do need to utilize that bomb to get your mech. You cannot stagger at this point. With 1 minute remaining and being behind, knowing that Fire Puppies have both their support ults already and that you need to build yours, Overworked are in a tough position. If they want to stop this grand finals from being equalized by Fire Puppies, then they're going to have to really dig deep here, dig in their heels and get something done.
There's a coalescence that you're talking about is already ready on the board here, putting a lot of pressure, trying to get rid of Silver Talus, who is just unrelenting and staying alive. But King is unfortunately not, and neither Shoreline Pie. The rest of Fire Puppies is still on this W. They still are technically in the lead by just only 2 meters, and the time bank is only at 30 seconds now. We only really have the support ultimates of Kernmaster and Silver Talus for Overworked to take not just this fight, but about 2 more fights before they could take it. And there's a high note from Synax, who didn't get too much value there, unfortunately, and they push over almost back to their spawn off of this Brig rally from Hannah.
10 seconds remaining, it's do or die now. The Kitsune Rush comes out from Silver Charles just as they die. Beat just hits King to stay alive. The King's health is just deteriorating. It looks to be all over Overworked here on this map. Fire Puppies have done it. They've just equalized this map.
And it's looking so scary. I mean, there's 3 people on here. It's really only up to Kernmaster to contest. And with Synax kind of playing out of their mind all day on this Cassidy, Fire Puppies takes it. And we are now at an unexpected Game 5. We're going over to Escort, and we are in the grass, literally right there of a reverse sweep for Fire Puppies. Overworked has to... Maybe we need to begin that coaching raffle soon.
Yeah, maybe Overworked need that. I think you know, when we talk about mental, right, and the mental game it takes to reverse sweep, it is tough to like keep in that mindset. But there is a flip to that coin. The we're winning mindset. If you accidentally slip into that, then you can very easily get yourself snowballed, because suddenly you're not winning and you weren't applying enough fault. Now, I'm not saying that's happening. I just want to point out that in terms of the mental game, that's definitely a possibility. Also, my sincerest apologies to Hannah. I was not familiar with your Brig game. It worked. Those packs could go onto Otters, give them that help in the duel with the Tracers, so it definitely worked out. I think it was a very risky time to do it, but hey, if you don't take risks, you don't get rewards. And the reward here is that both of these teams are 1 map away from being champions, from being victorious in the grand finals. Fire Puppies have had an incredible run to get this reverse sweep into position to be to be triggered upon. And now Overworked are thinking back to their journey, of their heroic moment, of their basically their superhero backstory of that Route 66 match where they, with 1 minute on Route 66, completed the entire map with an incredible run. That's the Overworked we need to now see in this next match. But thankfully for them, it is Payload. So they can do it. It is the same mode that they did it previously on. They need to bring that energy again.
No way we're going to Shambali. That is a treat for me. I love Shambali. I have loved Shambali since its release, since Ramatra's season, and if we're going over Shambali, I'm excited. This is, again, kind of wherever you want. You can definitely play that Sigma poke because of how long that initial push is for the for the payload. You can also, we've seen the Brawl also work here. Hello, Ramatra exists on this map for a reason. This is his map for a reason, but Brawl is really good here, and I really do hope we keep seeing the dive. The dives have been so strong from Fire Puppies from map 3 and onwards, and I think it's just getting more and more into each other as the time goes on. They're getting the correct dives on certain targets. They're sustaining themselves and trusting their supports to keep them up during these very trying times with Akko and Hannah. And I also want to apologize to Hannah. It was not a very great game. My bad. You single-handedly terrorized Overworked with that rally at the very end. So my GOAT forever at this point. So I'm super excited to see us go over to Shambali Monastery, a very beloved map in my heart. And this is do or die for Overworked. In all seriousness, this is kind of where they have to truly and unironically like lock in. Like just lock in, get the defense, push the attack, go past the objectives they need to go, and secure the W. Because you were talking about mental earlier, and being reverse 3-0'd sucks. Like, it really sucks.
It's something you don't live down. It's something you think back on like years later, like, do you remember that tournament where we got reverse swept in the finals, and yet again 3 of our players became the bridesmaid and not the bride after not winning BPL season 5 when Snapdragon beat us? Not that I wish this upon anyone or any players, by the way. I don't want anyone to have mental anguish over a for-fun tournament. But all I'm saying is there's a lot on the line here for these players, you know. It just goes to show the history of these players as well. I mean, Guac has been working their mind off. They have been playing such good Overwatch since, especially since we saw that Winston come out. It's been so clean. It's been winning. The primal rage is the win condition ultimate. Ladies and gentlemen, and all other aspects of gender, that is not meant to happen. That's not normal. Guac is beyond normal.
Guac is abnormal.
Yes.
My dude is not normal with this Winston. And you're right. Who is using Primal aggressively? Who is using Primal to get kills? It is Guac, and it's so funny. And with no Ana, no Nano needed, we do not care. The tickle damage, no, you die. It's great. I actually love seeing this confidence of someone on Winston that doesn't really have the support of Ana, especially Ana Nano, for example, to really because most Winstons need that kind of confirmation that they're okay, that they can go in, be healed by a long-range character like Ana or like Kiriko and be fine, or have that Nano as a back pocket survivability factor. Guac is just simply different, I fear, and knows how to play Winston far greater than I have ever seen in a very long time. So shout outs to Guac, shout outs to the entirety of Fire Puppies, honestly, for finding their footing a couple of maps in as we start off on Shambali. Gonna be make or break. Guac is teasing in the ball. It can work. It can work.
I mean, they made it work in other matchups, and Shambali obviously lends itself to a wrecking ball on attack quite well. If you're aware of Overworked, you know they're gonna play the Sigma here. Then you can very easily set Guac up to have a good setup. There's a specific setup where you can very easily knock them off the high ground if they're next to that edge. So that's probably what Guac's thinking, and then you just follow up there. There's a January on Farah again, which Shambali is, you know, you can play with Farah a lot. It is a Farah map. There's lots of angles and corners you can play from, which keeps you safe while increasing your ability to apply pressure. Now, we are in a brief pause, and while we're there, I want to say we are at $2,010 in the donation. This is an incredible amount of money. We're in the 2010s. You know, we have airplanes like flying stars in the sky. We are so close to 2024. Maybe we could get there. Maybe that's our next unofficial goal that I've just set, huh? 2024. Let's see if we can get it. The year that we are in, can we get that amount of money in dollars as we open up and what will be the final map of this grand finals? These two titans of teams, as we see two Farahs here, Senex and January, just spamming into each other's teams.
Oh, Guac is going on an adventure. We're going on a little beautiful stroll. I mean, up to Puppies kind of maintain their composure without their tank for a second, but here's a disruption coming through. Gonna be putting a lot of pressure on January and Silvertails, especially January. Look at how fast that health pool really kind of went down, and now the positioning of Overworked is disgruntled a little bit. Now it's all up to Puppies to really follow up with Guac's approach. January gonna be putting on the hurt on Otters, but at the same time, Silvertails getting those hits on Guac. Now they're without a tank. This pillow is no longer moving. Syntax is also taking care of Silvertails at the very same time. So now, one team fight, now do it again.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a chaotic fight, not super clean as January looks to take out Active and just get away with their Faye. January just about surviving on about 5 HP. Fire Puppies have a better position now moving forward. Black on the Winston, a terrifying prospect, boss music playing in the field. Silvertails is going to be in a lot more danger with those harder dive engages that are going to be looking to just take them off the field. Silvertails needs to be very careful with their position, because they can stand further back than they even think that they should.
I love how you said Guac going onto the Winston is like the boss fight coming in, the boss music. That's so true here. Look how more coordinated Fire Puppies are already playing, and the payloads are already pushing the corner of Objective A. Now, can we get this barrage going? We are going to be seeing Silvertails bust out that window, and Otter is going for the duplicate on Sigma here. Next, understanding I need not get this window, I need to allow my double tanks to kind of play double tank, and now there is also the sound barrier coming through for Currentmaster as a response to that barrage coming in from Synax. Doesn't find anyone but the Immortality field coming in, but Guac and Akko gonna be honestly working in tandem with one another to make sure the rest of Overwork kind of fall victim. Storyline Pie barely able to get out of there, able to die very quickly, and has to die, which is really good.
Coalesce kept them alive brilliantly. When Currentmaster beat, that's exactly when Synax used Barrage, so that extra health just got torn away for a lot of the players, and then the Coalescence just keeps Fire Puppies alive enough that they can keep that pressure up. They're also they're going to be looking to get their Flux off. Kingdom will be looking for the Flux, going to be looking to combo that with the High Noon. January can use this Barrage. Obviously in the neutral game they have basically just won this fight as I'm talking, but Synax is on the field, so never count anything out.
No, literally never count anything out. Synax was literally one, and able to get that pick on January is so important. The High Noon does come through, however, and does make a lot of space ready for Overworked in that very bad, in what could have been a really bad situation after January, Synax kind of popped off on January. Speaking of, January does have that barrage, and I'm really excited to see how they utilize it in Conundrum with Kings of Flux. Hannah has this Kitsune Rush, so I also want to see what the approach is going to be here for Fire Puppies.
Fire Puppies want to close this distance because they know that the window's going to come out. So you even want to force the window out, then back up. But either way, Guac's been caught up by this Flux. Good Suzu.
Good Suzu, but the damage output is a little bit too much. Crazy barrage from January. I see you, Steve. Gonna be taking care of, gonna be just going straight in the face of Akko for a second there, and cleaning it right up once more. Overworked getting a beautiful team kill, and with only you have double support ults ready. Hannah still has yet to use that Kitsune, and I don't blame you. I didn't find an opportunity to use it either, but this time can definitely see it be a fight winner.
Yep, struggling well. There's a Corvalis #1 Guac fan coming in with the Winston donation. Kitsune Rush still ready, looking to get this win. They've been in a bit of a rut here for a couple of fights. They need to shake themselves out of it, utilizing this Rush.
There it is, beautiful using yourself to make sure that Hannah stays alive throughout this, as Otter is newly on the venture now, taking care of King with that damage over time from the drill. Now forces Overworked to kind of back up, and pretty much allow the payload to move around this corner for free. I love the flank angle that Guac and Synax are both taking here. Oh, they were taking, but Synax gonna be going around and likely gonna be putting a lot of pressure from this high angle. The angle maxing here is amazing for them, and look, no one's gonna be contesting. And can we get the shot on January? No, I'm sorry, on Synax. No, barely able to get out of there. Dead Eye gonna be ripped open, and do we get anything at all? Maybe just Moira, just barely.
So much damage going into them that they just couldn't utilize that window. Silvertails immediately hit the immortality field as soon as the window came out, and yeah, King and Germas are just falling apart, and you know, very suddenly that rut that Fire Puppies were in kind of breaks open, and Otter's getting a lot of work there on the Venture and that kind of brawly, dodgy fight that Venture is very good at fighting in. Overworked though, sticking to their guns. They know that they're able to get them into a rut before, and with this long sightline on third point, they can do it again. Shoreline can play around this corner as a Cassidy and play in that maximum effective range of that kind of like midway as January takes the air, looking, searching for a successful barrage.
And it might be coming randomly, and we know January loves to do that kind of stuff. Honors caught on that payload by their lonesome, unfortunately for them. The fight is starting to kind of rack up in favor for Overworked here on their defense. Fire Puppies thankfully having 3 ultimates, but had to retreat so quickly. They have about 2 minutes left on this push, however, so it's not the end of the world, but the regroup has to be fast, and the ult planning has to work out nicely here.
Yeah, Excavation comes in. January does fight Hannah immediately. That means the continued rush won't be available here. They might want to utilize either the barrage or Wax ultimate, the winning primal. But yeah, you take a face full of damage like that, nah, not taking that fight.
Oh my goodness, January got a little bit too cheeky, tried going for a melee on the literally the one Guac right there, but Guac was like, no, I'm just gonna jump out of here and be and live for free. Still having Primal at the back end. Synax also has the barrage, so Kermaster is going to be up to Kermaster to get this sound barrier active and going before the barrage can take care of the team. The Flux, the preemptive Flux, oh, so good as a response to Guac's immediate aggressive Primal. And Shoreline Pie caught out in the fire of that payload. Synax now ready for anything here, but the rest of the team is kind of faltering at the moment. Beautiful Lin coming in from Silvertails to make sure that King does not die to Otters. And again, great hold coming in from Overworked. Now, sub a minute for Fire Puppies.
Looks like January's actually going back to swap for this final minute here as Guax, yep, also on the Wrecking Ball. Wasn't getting too much done with the Winston. It's long sightlines. It's very hard to set up as a Winston, so I understand this change, and it's why January has went to the Sombra to disrupt it with the hack. Both support ults ready from both sides. Big, heavy fight coming out here, but it's how the supports utilize their ults that will win it for their teams.
Oh, I love being a good invisible coalescence, putting a lot of pressure on the side Overworked, but that sound barrier is coming through the window and that Deadeye, which should spell victory for Overworked, but good usage of that cover coming in for Fire Puppies to avoid all those ultimates, and that impeccable shield. Did you see that? Oh my goodness. They completely negate that barrage and the Ender, making sure that Venture cannot dig out of there for free. Another one team fight, and with 30 seconds to spare, there's absolutely nobody on the side of Fire Puppies who can touch in time, even with Guac trying to roll in like a transformer.
Not only have Overworked been able to stop the payload in its tracks, but has the momentum of Fire Puppies been stopped in its tracks? There's no chance of any extra rounds now. It's all down to this next attack and defense for this grand finals to be decided. You don't even need to finish the map. You don't even really need to get around that final corner, I think. Overworked have put himself into a good position. However, you do need to get past the first 2 points. So Fire Puppies are going to be really investing into playing for that first point, fighting for that first point and second point, and not letting Overworked do what they want. And on their defense, coming out on a dive looking setup with Hannah and Akko on that Brig Anna again. They probably know that the spam's coming out from Overworked, so they can sit back, have some time, create those sightlines, build those nanos. Nano can very easily go onto Guac or Otters, both 2 superstar players for Fire Puppies. So I am liking this look from Fire Puppies. I imagine Overworked will probably match the dive after they see what's happening, because it's going to be tough to push in with a spam. Nice little close-up of the Hanzo there, as Janui is actually going to go into Farah to look to get some spam and all, and that is actually going to be bad for the backline, because if they're not careful, they'll get spammed.
Look, yeah, absolutely. They'll get bopped out of their spot. Hana and Akko have to be a little bit careful with how they position themselves together. Shine Pie Gimme taking the brunt of that hinder coming in from Synax randomly, and these squishies gonna be sending January to really low health there. I love the battle of the flyers here between the Echo and the Pharah, and the anti is an unspoken factor here from Akko. Great anti. Forces King to back up and also forces out that big cooldown of the immortality field from Silver Towels. Now again, we're going for the high ground. Akumi dropping a little bit low here, throwing an anti as well. Not gonna be able to find many heads. However, the positioning here for Fire Puppies has been completely disrupted by Overworked taking over the high ground.
Yeah, the Lucio element is everything here for Overworked, because they've got that rotation so quickly that they've been able to catch up to that slow, steady backline of Fire Puppies, and that's going to force Fire Puppies to reconsider as Hana goes on to the Kiriko. And you're probably going to stick to the Ana because you're going to have Nano Rule soon, and you want to try and keep this first point. You don't want to be fighting for these next points. They are going to have the High Noon also. Wax, Primal, lots of win condition ultimates for them, but that Flux is coming up from King, and that's going to be the scary one.
Oh, before that Deadeye does come on and take care of Otters at the same time. One other big old Deadeye coming from Synax as a response. Finds Kermaster in the fray. Gonna be seeing of Synax trying to flip for the entirety of Fire Puppies, trying to get away from this immortality, from this window, and it's just too much pressure, too much damage output. King and Jenny both ready with their respective ultimates, as well as Kermaster having that sound barrier in the case of maybe a Guac Primal, which has been extremely effective as of late, or whatever Otters duplicates onto.
4 minutes 30, rolling into second point. You don't need to finish the map. Overworked are in a very good position as Fire Puppies again, for the second time in this overall series, in this grand finals, feel the fire behind them. They're feeling the heat now. Jeremy gets hit by a nade, almost goes down to it. That Nano engage here still ready from Fire Puppies.
Okay, we're gonna be seeing this Nano come through on Guac. With Primal also in the back end, you're also just fine to kind of be a little more aggressive, and Guac is definitely doing so. Missing a lot of low health HP heroes, and unfortunately King was slumped at the wheel, could not get a Deadeye as well from Otters. Gonna be seeing a Flux come through at the same time on the payload, and another amazing life-changing Suzu coming in from Hana. Zombie ready on Kermaster, Generate finding Otters in the fray once more. The payload still slowly but surely moving, as we see Overworked slowly moving away from the payload, away to get back to their team and try to get something started here. But man, Puppies is pretty much pushing all the way back.
Otter is going on to Hail Mary choice of the Mei, and it is going to help take out King. If you get a good wall, it'll help out. They're going to continue rush, but right into a window of
The wall a little bit too late on that window and on that Deadeye by default. And Shoreline Pie is using this window to the fullest extent of the law. Can we win the Cavs 1v1? We absolutely do. And Shoreline Pie gets a quick 4K with the assist of that boop from Kermaster. And now suddenly we have 4.5 minutes. But we've seen this before, Gio. On Midtown, Fire Puppies on defense had 4.5 minutes to hold, and they did it.
The only thing that tastes better than pie is victory. And Overworked are so close to it. They've worked for this. They've built to this. They're just around the corner from it. They're going to have their Flux. They're going to have their Barrage. They can taste it. But just like this series, they can't let go.
It's looking really rough without your Flex support player, the Kiriko. It won't look like it's going to be too easy to get this W on the board. Synax and Otters have their own regenerative and evasive resources to utilize, but not for too long. Sometimes we found the Fairy Otters has no icebox to regen the health, and look how close this payload is. Like we said, it barely turns the corner, and we are literally less than 10 meters from the W for Overworked to not get reverse swept, and there's no last minute touch again. Akko coming in with the fade a little bit too late, and the Flux was gonna cover everything anyway for a total C9. So that is Overworked not getting reverse swept, bringing it right back and going 3-2 against Fire Puppies.
They have cemented themselves as champions here. As I said, they worked for it. They built to this. So much hardship. The Route 66 miracle that they were able to push through. Now they block the reverse sweep. One of the best glow-ups of the tournament, and now the champion of the tournament. Those heroes that got snubbed in Season 5, well, they ain't snubbed now. They're champions, and congratulations to them.
I thought it'd be really funny if we kept put the old logo on the congratulations screen. It'd be hilarious. But
No.
glow up indeed. We had a glow up on the graphic, glow up on our team mentality, on winning, and we're also still getting donations. Let's talk about it real fast, Gio. We have Kothar giving us $55 in donations, and then on the back end we have Moon Bunny donating $150 for Lucio Overwatch says, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And that is a beautiful quote. Oh my goodness. That is a beautiful quote to end things off on. $2,025 raised for Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And that is beautiful.
An incredible story for the victorious team and its players that now have a championship title. An incredible story of this community coming together and donating and helping this tournament, playing in it, watching it, being in the chat, talking about it on Twitter. Any small amount of help that you gave to this, then you can consider yourself part of it, because we've done incredible stuff here together, and we have raised 2,230 with another donation coming in there, Orange. With the $5 donation, one time through bells, question mark on Zervasa. Oh, is Orange donating based off of their observing errors? That's funny. That's quite funny.
I love BPL. Y'all not unserious. It's great. I also see like 4 times missing health bars plus wrong settings plus hitting wall.
Oh no.
Oh no, bestie. Regardless of what your reasoning is for donating, the donations are of course always appreciated, and they will be going towards a PCRF. And I'm gonna get emotional. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna get really emotional.
Well, it might get more emotional because we're about to be inundated with the entire winning team is in the waiting room right now, I think, as they're just slowly entering the PC. First of all, everyone,
Hello.
congratulations.
Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
We finally got Shoreline Pie a win.
Yeah, I
I was
know.
gonna say.
How long
yeah,
was Shoreline?
Some of you got snubbed in Season 5, and now you finally got that victory. Yeah, how long have you been in Shoreline Pie, almost getting wins, but now finally getting a win?
I would say 2 years now. First with Nox getting 3rd during PLC.
Right. Well, you finally did it after 2 years.
Congratulations,
the
man.
The Scottish buff didn't work for you last tournament, but hey, something worked this tournament. What is that winning factor? What do you guys think led to you guys getting this victory?
I mean, he's not here, but King Sigma play was kind of insane that last map, and
Oh yeah.
honestly,
Just in
just
general.
our flexibility to change up our comps depending on what they were playing, because they were playing some crazy ass comps, and we had to kind of swap around to figure out what would work best into that.
It's funny that you say that, because when I was spectating in the lobby, I was talking on the Coliseum. I was like, they should just go Winston here. Winston's really good into the Brig, Cass, Moira, and then Shore immediately goes, King, you can go play Monkey here. Immediately after. We just have really good comp recognition.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were very quick to adapt. You weren't scared to swap off of characters that weren't working, and I think that definitely helped you in this instance. Were you guys expecting to be a top team? Were you looking for the victory? Is this something that shocked you, or is this something that this was expected?
I mean, I think we came into this thinking we could win it. After the first day when we lost, I think we were actually more confident after that, because we thought to ourselves that is probably the standard of this, and we can come back and sort of take what we learned there and it was literally like our first game together as a team. So yeah, we just took what we learned there and played the rest of our games with it.
Honestly, what also pushed us together was our comeback win against Shikigami. That game was insane.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys weren't able to watch most of the series, but just like map 5, the first 4 maps that damn close, and we're like, all right, if we can beat this team, we feel like we can genuinely go all the way.
Yeah, at one point in this grand finals, I described that moment as like your hero backstory, like where you got your powers, because that was an incredible feat. In fact, talk me through that, because that was another map 5 series where you were on the verge of losing. You were actually in a disadvantage, and I think in the time bank realm against the other team of Shikigami. Talk us through what led to you guys being able to push all the way through Route 66 on just 1 minute.
We just all clutched up like in our own little individual ways. I think
we
it was just sort of
to what we needed to swap to.
Yeah,
You'll play
because
a lot
originally we were playing.
Especially
We
when
were
our
trying to
first
force the
attack.
Malga comp into them, and we were
Yeah.
like, well, that's just not working. What if we just mirror them? And then
As soon as we
the
swapped
mirror
Diva, we
worked.
just like went through all 3 points.
Yeah, I think the other thing about it too is that we like individually. I say we as if I'm a player. Individually they like play super well to their own strengths, and that comes together as like a team, especially on like the Diva comp where like King knows he has to check the Diva and he can look for openings on the rest of their team. Jan knows to like try to find some like poke damage here with the Sombra, look for a good hack. Hack the Diva, you can like the Diva loses half their health and they have to cut it. Just individually like playing really smart as opposed to like trying to ego. Specifically for that map was like crazy. Also, after every single point, like the morale went up like instantly.
Yeah,
I do want to give a shout out to Fire Puppies though, because I mean they almost reverse swept us. I was getting slightly stressed just because they definitely found with that Winston comp, they definitely found like a really good groove, and we weren't entirely sure what to do.
Yeah,
So we were kind of like
on the
we kind of just said
Yeah.
we have to stick to our guns, and we went to our Sigma comp that had been working good against Hive Mind, and we were like, all right, we play this well, we're going to win here, and we definitely pulled it out.
Yeah, play your own game, not their game. Perfect. Moneva, any questions for our champions?
Oh no, let's talk about some shoutouts, you guys. Come on now, we got with a beautiful game like that, you guys have, and a beautiful tournament run. May I say, I almost forgot we were in grands. You guys are the champions, of course. What are some shoutouts you have to give on the stream, especially for a charity event like of this caliber?
That'd be Doom Garden. No?
Oh
Yeah, thanks to
absolutely.
June.
100%.
Thanks, Doom
Thanks to
Garden.
June.
Big
They
shout out.
made Shoreline Pie's very interesting logo into a really good logo that is able to
Okay.
That's who we
I'm
find, okay.
actually straight to you, man.
Yeah, Shoreline Pie was the original logo maker. So.
I know.
We all thought it was different things. Apparently, it was them like hitting themselves with coffee, and
No, it's
a lot of people thought it was
spelling
something else.
Oh,
Yeah, them
it's
spilling
overruled.
coffee on themselves like that was crazy. Okay, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people thought other things.
Maybe you don't have that creative mind. You.
I don't have that. Okay, my fault, gang.
And shout out to literally everyone that's donated. The fact that
Yeah.
the original goal was set to 1,000, and we have now gone 1,200 over that mark is actually
yeah.
incredible.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful to see our community rally together for this.
Yeah, what a wonderful last shout out to give. Yeah, the community has come out in stride. But again, a final congratulations to you guys. We'll let you go and celebrate together. You all have a championship
thank
under
you.
your belt now, and you've definitely earned it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it so much.
Peace.
Brilliant.
Peace.
Peace out. Well, now that we have the games underway and we've smashed, completely obliterated all donation goals, I think it's time to bring some event staff in to wrap us up and talk us through the final moments of this amazing tourney. Take it away, guys.
Hello. Hi.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi. Holy shit, look at the money we raised. Good job, everybody.
True.
2.2 is crazy, and there's still a couple trickling in.
Right.
Appreciate it so much. This has been a really awesome event. These two, I'm putting besides me, but out my camera, but Kothra and Luna, set up all of this, and I just kind of lazily turned up and be like, yeah, I'll produce like a drunken father coming in at the last moment. Like, sure, that's fine. But they put so much work into this, and I'm so glad that we were able to help them raise as much money as we have. It's been really awesome.
Yeah. I'll say my thanks. I'll say my bit. Yeah, thanks for everyone for donating. Thanks for all the players, teams, showing up and everything. Especially we had some people sponsor some teams, so it was really great seeing just pickup teams come in and play as well. Having solo signups open was great. Thank you to everyone who helped, casting, producing, observing. Yeah, I think that's everything I had for thanks.
Yeah. I think you stole all the thanks. I'm gonna double thank you every staff member, everyone who helped from the rule book to prod to just validating teams, answering questions. Thank you everyone who donated. We met our goal, we met our stretch goal, we met our stretch goal. Then we met and completely overpassed our unstretchable goal, and that's just incredible. Raffle winners, I guess, right?
Oh yes, we have raffle winners from those who donated. If you donated more than $5, or for every $5 you donated, you could have received a reward of a raffle ticket. They have been picked and independently verified, or whatever it is they say on TV. They haven't been. Krota, or whoever.
Me. I can say it, yeah. For the Natter raffle ticket, we had an anonymous donor. They didn't put their name, so we'll be reaching out to them via email that they gave us. Otherwise, for the Spilo coaching, it was Valeris? Yeah, who won that. So
Yippee.
Those are the two raffle winners.
Let's go.
And everyone will be getting their vinyl stickers at some point over the next little bit if they've sent in their addresses. Poof will be shipping those all out at some point in the next week, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's been really awesome. Thank you so much to Natter and Spilo, of course, for donating their time as a raffle reward, because it's clearly worked. We got a bunch of extra donations as we close the deadline, so that was really awesome. But just all around, it's been a really successful event. $2,255 is a hell of a lot of money. Extra special big thanks to some of our big donors, Greg there, who's donated like $400 or something, and Jarvis Sumo for helping us to get over the goal right at the end. It's an unthinkable amount of money, and I mean, realistically, it's a drop in the sea of what some of the Palestinians need over there, but it's going to be a big chunk to help a couple of people that we can. So big thanks to everyone. That's all from this tournament. We'll have more BPL stuff later, but thank you so much. It's been awesome to do this event. We will see you next time for something completely different. One awesome event.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching. Woo.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
I was trying to get a clapping sound effects to like drown us out, but it.
We being extra. Yay, we got it!
Yay.
Alright, see you later. Goodbye.
See ya.